So one day I had the idea to fill my giant hamster ball completely up with Orbeez. The first step was filling the hamster ball up with water. I let it fill to a good amount I thought would absorb all the Orbeez we bought. And then I just opened it up and started pouring the Orbeez and kicking it to try to mix it all up. And I was pretty excited to get in the next day once the Orbeez were bigger, but I came back and it wasn't enough Orbeez, so I bought way more and filled the entire thing up with 500,000 Orbeez. And now all I have to do is wait for the Orbeez to absorb all the water, and I'll be swimming in it tomorrow, so stay tuned. Banana, carrot, cucumber, celery, it's corn. So after trying to sell a fake Gail Lewis Walmart vest to the pawn shop guy, he could tell she didn't really sign it.
I don't think she actually signed it. I think it's someone else maybe just going as her.
But she actually saw the video and thought it was hilarious. So I asked her if she would sign a real vest that I could take to the pawn shop, and she agreed. So my friend Brennan gave me his old Walmart vest, and I sent it off to Gail Lewis, and this is the video I got back.
Hey, it's me, Gail Lewis, Morris, Illinois, 844. I'm going to be signing a Walmart vest. Bring it in.
She actually signed her real signature and sent it back to me. The real Gail Lewis signature. Time to sell it. And I boxed it up and took it back into the pawn shop to show him the real deal. Hey, you remember my Gail Lewis vest, right?
Oh yeah, the one that had the signature on it?
That signature before, it wasn't like exactly real. But this is the real deal. Gail Lewis reached out because she saw the video. She actually signed me a vest. So.
Oh, that's cool. You sure it was her, not just some catfisher on...
I have proof.
What in the world?
Oh, that's my friend's old name tag. Ignore that. There's a signature.
Oh yeah.
This right here is the real Gail Lewis signature. And he got on his phone to verify.
It looks a little better than the first time around. What proof do you have besides this? You said you had some proof?
Yeah, here.
Hey, it's me, Gail Lewis. I'm going to be signing a Walmart vest. Bring it in.
And after showing him the video, he was convinced.
Oh, it is the same one.
Now that you know this is the real deal, let's talk money. These things went for like upwards of $400,000 on eBay until it got banned.
So it didn't really sell for $400,000?
No.
What do you want for it?
I think 10,000's fair.
You think she would sign one for me if I just sent her a vest?
I mean, maybe. She's pretty nice.
I'd give you $100 for it.
And that was way too low.
Do you have an eBay account? Put it on eBay. Maybe I'll bid on it.
Yeah, I'll just put it on eBay. You're gonna regret it when I sell it for way more on eBay. You could have done the same thing.
No problem. Have a good day.
So like and comment if you want to see me put it on eBay. So one day, after finding out from the pawn shop guy that the gold in these sand bricks isn't worth even finding. What do you think they're worth?
$2.44.
You guys wanted me to go to the store and buy as many of the diamond sand bricks as I could until I found a diamond and see how much the diamonds were. I bought 10 of the small diamonds and one giant diamond for $10. I began with the first diamond, trying to find the best way to get into it, and I eventually put it in water, trying to speed the process along, but it didn't really help. So I got out the world's biggest pocket knife and just started whacking it and then sawing into it. And eventually I found this plastic crystal, but not a diamond, so I kept on going. I slammed the second one open like this and found this rock. Then the next one had this crystal. The next one had another crystal and a rock. And I just kept whacking open diamond by diamond, finding nothing but little crystals and rocks. And we were nearing the end and I was starting to get worried I wasted all my money, with the giant diamond being my last hope of finding a diamond. So I just started whacking it, breaking it apart. And once it was fully done, we saw it.
No way.
We actually found the diamond on the last one, and this is what it looked like. And now it was just time to find out how rich this would make me. So remember the other day when I brought in the gold from the gold bricks?
Yep.
And you told me it was only worth like $2?
If that.
They have the same thing for diamonds, and I bought enough to where I actually found a diamond. And I want you to tell me, one, if it's even real, and how much it's worth. There's the diamond.
This is supposed to be a diamond, so it is a diamond, but it's the worst diamond there is. Diamonds are graded by how white they are. See how that's black on that piece of paper? So this is the worst possible diamond.
Like a black diamond's worth less?
A black diamond's really worth nothing.
So what's it actually worth then?
I can probably order that from a supplier for 40 cents.
I paid $10 to find this. So one day, after spending $25 on this bag of dirt and finding 2 small pieces of gold worth
$5.72,
I decided to step it up and spend $70 on a bigger bag of dirt, with the goal of making even more money. The first step was trying to sift all the big chunks out to try to find any big pieces of gold. I dumped it all out on this table and started looking, and I saw a bunch of crystals and rocks, and then right away we saw it. It's the gold. We already found our first piece of gold, and it was big. This was it on my finger. I added it to the jar, and we kept on looking. And right after that, we found this second smaller piece of gold. This bag was already proving to be more profitable. And then we found a third piece and quickly found a fourth piece, and our jar was starting to look pretty good, full of gold. I was getting excited, thinking this pile would really make me rich. And we stumbled upon a fifth piece of gold. And after that, I just got my phone light out and really started digging through the rocks and found yet again another piece. We found a seventh piece of gold in the thicker pieces of dirt, and then it was time to do one more thorough search before we moved on to panning all the finer pieces of dirt, which at first didn't seem like it was going well.
Ain't no gold. Wait.
Until literally the tiniest piece of gold I've ever seen caught my eye. And with 8 pieces of gold, it was time to see what it was worth.
What's up, Dylan?
You remember I came in the other day, I spent $25 on the dirt, and I found that $5 worth of gold?
Yep.
I ended up spending $70 more on a different set of dirt, and I found even more gold this time.
How much gold do you think's in there?
I have a feeling it's about $35 worth of gold or so.
You think so? I'm guessing there's probably $20 worth in there.
He zeroed out the cap on the scale and then weighed it with the gold, and it weighed.
0.4 grams.
And then he calculated the value at 21 carats.
$23.35. So basically they put $23 worth of gold in a $70 bag of dirt. That's a pretty good return on their part.
Well, I might not have found it all either. And I made $20. So one day I wanted to see how much I could sell this jar of oil for to the pawn shop guy, so I went out to the oil field to find out.
Good to see you.
I'd like to buy some
He
oil.
explained to me how everything worked and how valuable his operation
It ends
was.
up making you money. It's like pulling money out of the earth.
And then we went over to where all the oil was stored so I could take a look inside. And I could look inside this little hole to see all the oil, and then it came out this little spigot as well.
How much for a jar of this oil?
Well, I think I saw this morning oil was selling for $50 a jar. I'll let you have it for $48 because I like you so much.
Can you do 20?
Tell you what, for you, I'll do 25.
So after our negotiating, he filled up my jar with oil.
Got some liquid gold right here.
And then I paid him his
Here's
money.
your money.
Okay.
And it was now time to take it to the pawn shop to see how much profit I could make.
What's up, Dylan?
You know what this is?
Applesauce?
This is crude oil straight from the pipes of an oil field.
Really?
Basically, you could buy this from me at a discounted rate because I got it straight from the source. You could sell it to a refinery to make gasoline and stuff.
Don't they sell that by the barrel? It don't quite look like a barrel. I don't know. I mean, what are you trying to get out of it?
I was thinking $30.
It's only like $75 a barrel. That's probably $1 worth of oil in there.
I paid $25 to get this, so I was just hoping I could sell it for more.
Yeah, I think you paid way too much for it. I'd give you probably 50 cents for it.
I'm gonna have to pass. And I had to walk. So I bought this bag of dirt for $70, and we found enough gold to be worth approximately
$23.35.
And since then, you guys told me if I spend even more money on a better bag of dirt, I'd find even more gold. So I bought this bag off Amazon for $130, and I started out sifting all the big chunks to try to find a big nugget. And right away, we found one. It was one of the biggest ones we'd ever seen. It could be worth a ton on its own. And right after that, we saw another big chunk right here. I picked them up and put them both in the jar and then kept on searching. And we quickly found more gold. We found this bigger triangle piece and this even smaller piece you could barely see. And we just kept adding more and more gold to the jar. And after that, we literally just found piece after piece of gold nonstop. And after a little bit more searching through this pile, we found one more piece of gold. And then I got out the rest of the sand and dumped it in the sifter, sifted it out, and immediately found more gold. We found a few more pieces in the rest of this sand here and here. And then to make sure I didn't miss anything, I got out this metal detector, which detected one last really small piece. And then I resorted to panning for all the finer pieces left, which didn't really get me anything until eventually I was almost out and I saw it left tons of little pieces of gold that I put inside this container and then tested with my detector to make sure it was real, and then it was time to see what it was worth. Here's the gold I found. I want you to tell me what you think it's worth.
It's more than you've had in the past.
He then weighed in the cap to see what it was worth.
You're 0.9 grams. $37 worth of gold.
Oh, that's actually a lot.
And before giving me any money for it, he made sure it was completely real. And he actually said he made a mistake and it was worth more.
It's worth $57. Sorry, I had the wrong carat weight.
No way.
I'll give you $50 for it. You're only losing half this way.
The most I ever made.
Well, you really didn't make anything. You still lost 80.
So one day I ordered this stuff called Great Stuff, which is basically expandable foam insulation. And my goal was to build a boat out of it. Not just any boat, a cardboard boat, because a while back I had a series on TikTok where I tried to make cardboard boats float, and I was never very successful. But I used the best cardboard boat design I knew how to make, and then I was going to cover the entire outside in the Great Stuff. And hopefully it'll float. So I finished taping up the entire bottom, like this. And I already had a decent looking boat. Then we covered the entire bottom in the Great Stuff. And then later we covered the rest of the sides. And when I came back the next day, it was solid looking. And it was ready to be tested in the creek. I walked it down and then got in. And I started to float away. It was working flawlessly without any problem. So I just kept on rowing and having a good time. And then I about ran into a tree. And then I started heading out further. And it was the best boat I'd ever made. I just kept going. So one day I decided to go to Walmart and get a can of Flex Seal and a few sheets of cardboard, and then I headed home to build a cardboard boat. I had the stuff and I was ready to build. I cut the sheets so I could form them into a boat. I then took my duct tape and I duct taped all around it. I then flipped it over and duct taped that side. I got the base for the boat and positioned it in. I put some duct tape on it, flipped it over again, and put another piece of cardboard on it for support. Now it was ready for the Flex Seal, so I took it to my backyard to be sprayed. I sprayed all around the seams and in every corner until I was done and ready to test it in the creek. Like for part 2.
So one day, a while back, after bringing my rubber band ball to this pawn shop guy for a long time, I decided to surprise him with his own rubber band ball.
Sweet. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
This was about 6 months ago, and I told him he should put it up here and try to sell it for some money. And it's sat here for months until the other day when this guy came in.
Hey, what's up, Dr. Phil from Roper Kia? What's going on?
Oh, I'm living my best life. How
Good
are
to
you?
see you.
My kids are driving me nuts. There's
Okay.
some kid named Dylan off of TikTok who has these rubber band balls.
Oh, yeah. I got one. He gave you one last time he came in. That's
Oh
it
my
right there.
gosh, this thing's heavy.
Oh, yeah. It's heavy.
This is it?
Check it out. It even bounces.
How much you want for it?
For $140, you can have that ball.
Sign me up.
Sweet.
Ready.
You got a deal.
20.
That's it. Perfect.
140.
Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir. Boom! Got the
And this
ball.
guy walked off with the ball
you
forever.
go.
So after testing the circle of salt around a Tesla trend and finding out it doesn't really work, people were still commenting wanting me to put the salt 4 feet away, all the way around the Tesla. So we have a bunch more salt and we measured 4 feet on each tire, marked a little bit of salt, and then started pouring it all the way around the Tesla like this, making thick lines and then even a dashed line all the way around that line. And it was now time to find out if the Tesla would be put to a stop. I got in and drove straight over the salt, and then I put it in reverse and autopilot. So one day, after completely failing to fool a pawn shop guy with fake merchandise,
Signed by Michael Jordan. 2 gold nuggets.
I don't think it looks like Michael Jordan's signature.
I got humiliated and proved to be a fraud. But I had a new idea. I ordered a $28 custom t-shirt with the pawn shop guy's face on it and slapped it on. And the plan was to try to sell it to the pawn shop guy along with a bunch of other stuff.
Yo.
I found some stuff laying around I think you would really want to buy. And I also found this other item at a thrift store that I think you'd really want to buy.
Okay. What is it?
The first item here, I got this gas mask. So it's like good in case of emergencies. Say we're in a war.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of a cheap gas mask. I've
It's-
got the real ones over there for sale. 3 canisters on them. They're brand new. They've never been on. This is just like a cheap imitation.
I got some other stuff besides the mask. Have you ever heard of MREs?
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of like that. A scrambled egg venture meal.
How much you want for that?
I was thinking like $10. I'll let you off cheap.
Then he Googled it and said,
I'd probably give you like $3 just so I could try it.
Really?
Yeah, have for breakfast tomorrow.
Okay. Dude, we made a sale.
For that,
Have you ever heard of military gum?
yes. It comes in an MRE. When you eat an MRE in the field, it comes with gum.
Well, this is military gum. If you eat it, you get a lot of energy and you become a better soldier.
What do you want for this? Like 50 cents?
Well, I got a whole box here for you. You just ate one. Yo, you gotta pay for that, bro. A lot of caffeine in that. You better be careful.
So how much you want for this?
$50.
For gum? I'd probably give you $3 for that too.
I'll keep my gum. You ever heard of miracle berries?
Never heard of them.
If you eat one of these berries, anything you eat will taste super sweet. It's like if you want to eat a pickle or something that's not very sweet, you eat one of these and then it's going to become sweet. It's like magic. Don't look it up on the internet. They're really expensive.
They're open though. It's used.
So I was thinking like $30.
Probably don't need it for $30. I wouldn't mind trying it though.
I think they're still good. They sat in my
Okay.
car. Aren't they sweet?
It was kind of nasty.
I got 2 more things. I got corn on the cob. It makes popcorn in the microwave.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you want for that? A couple bucks? I mean, it's popcorn. The only place you pay a lot of money for popcorn is at the movie theater.
$20.
I don't like popcorn that well.
This next item, it's gonna knock your socks off.
What is it, like electricity?
So the other day, I was just in the thrift store and I came across this shirt. I thought it looked like you. It's one of a kind.
Wow, pawn guy shirt. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I guess you ordered it in your size, but that sure ain't gonna fit me. My hand's even up on the counter like that. It's like you just made this. That is awesome, dude. You need to just come back here. Man, that is cool.
I was thinking you could buy it for like $500.
Man, I'd almost give you $500 for
He's
it.
a good looking guy, right?
He's a good looking dude.
How much would you pay for it?
I'd give you $10 for it. Shirts and thrift stores aren't very expensive.
I'll do it.
Sweet. Best thing I bought all day.
Dude,
sir.
that's $13.
Good day.
So I've tried and failed on multiple occasions to fill this inflatable dome completely up with water, and we've gotten it pretty full, but never full enough. But today, that's all going to change. I'm going to be filling this dome as much as I can, filling it all day with water. The footage right here shows about an hour of the dome filling and expanding with water while I chilled in the pool and watched it. Everything was going smoothly, and after another 2 hours, the dome looked like this. It was getting pretty full, but still not full enough. I wanted to be able to swim in this. The water was, however, at a point where I had to add tape so none leaked out. I got in in and sealed it up so no water would leak out, and this is what the dome looked like inside. It was pretty neat. I then got out and left it for a very long time, and after several more hours, it looked like this. Yeah, it didn't get much deeper because the dome wasn't strong enough to hold any more water. So then I had another idea, running around in my giant hamster ball inside the dome. So I put it in there, aired up inside the hamster ball like this with a leaf blower, and then started running around. And it was really crazy. I looked like some sort of weird snow globe. I ran around in it like this, fell a bunch of times, and then it was time to leave. And the water went everywhere. So in my last video, we tried to blow up this inflatable air mattress. And we got it pretty full, but it wouldn't pop, so I threw this shovel at it and accidentally just poked a hole in it instead of blowing it up. So we're gonna be trying again to completely pop the air mattress.
Time to fully pop the mattress.
I began airing up a brand new mattress in this empty room like this. It was getting really full, so I let it fill a little bit longer, and then we decided to move the whole thing outside.
We're going again.
This is when the air mattress started popping each individual layer of the mattress.
There goes one. Oh, there goes two. When's the third one gonna collapse? Oh, there goes the third one. The fourth one's about to collapse any second now. Ah! These will all collapse, and then the whole thing will explode.
The air mattress kept on popping layer by layer until eventually we had the last pop before the giant explosion.
Oh my
And with it
God.
being as big as a giant balloon, all that's left was for it to pop.
Oh, that's gonna pop. Pop already. Oh, there we go. Oh.
So after trying to fool the pawn shop guy and taking lots of random stuff in to see him,
Signed by Michael Jordan. 2 gold nuggets.
I don't think it looks like Michael Jordan.
I always come out short and fail to sell anything. So you guys commented telling me to take $100 and actually buy something from the pawn shop
Oh,
guy.
hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm just here to look around for fun.
Okay, that's different. Well, look around. Let me know if you got any
So I
questions.
began looking for something to buy.
Hey, what's this?
That is a strong box off of an old Stagecoach.
Is this a safe at the
Yeah,
bottom of it?
That's a safe out of one of the old Sonic restaurants.
How much is the safe?
Well, I lost the combination to it, so I'd make you a deal on it. $100.
You do $100 on the safe?
How about a Louis Vuitton wallet?
How much is this?
I'd take $300 for it.
$300 for a wallet?
It's actually an $850 wallet.
What's back here? Ukulele, I know how to play this.
There you go.
On a small island. $40. Oh, they got a scuba tank thing.
That's an old dive helmet.
This thing's cool. How much is this?
Probably $1,000. What about a banjo ukulele? Okay, maybe not the ukulele.
Oh, what's that? Is that a big watch?
This watch would look good on you.
Wow.
Maybe a little big for your wrist.
How much is this?
I don't know. I just use it for decoration.
What about that blue watch? How much is that worth?
I do $125 on it. You got a girlfriend?
Yeah. Gucci?
Gucci.
How much is that?
I got $350 on it. I'd probably do 2.5.
I got some Gucci flip-flops.
Are they real, or did you get them off Amazon?
And I wasn't really
what else
finding
we got.
anything, so I continued to browse around the store looking for something to buy.
Chainsaw.
Is it price?
$95.
$80.
Oh, another safe.
And then I remembered about the safe from earlier.
Wait, how much was this safe at the bottom?
$80.
It was nice.
Yeah, if I knew the combination to it, I'd probably take it home and crack it.
And then I knew I had to buy it to try and crack
Listen to
it.
You don't know the combination?
I wrote it down somewhere, but I don't know what I did with it. So when I bought it, it came out of one of the Sonic restaurants. I had the combination, but we moved.
Is there anything inside of it?
Maybe a Coney or something, but
Dude, we could get in that safe.
I then told him I wanted it, so we began moving it out.
it's pretty heavy.
A mystery safe.
Take it up, load it up, and come back and pay me and bring my dolly back.
So then I headed out the door with this ancient safe.
Everybody, look at my safe. My brand new mystery safe.
My brother and I then struggled to put it in the back of my car, and then we went back inside
Here
and
you go.
paid.
Thank
For
you.
the
How much did I
safe.
tell you?
80.
Tax and everything, you get a penny back.
It's all right, right?
Just kidding. There you go. Let me show you the safe that's bigger than that one.
And he then took me to the back to show me the safes he had.
Whoa. Yo. I bet I could break into this thing.
You want to get in it?
Yeah.
How long you leave you in there?
No, don't leave me in there. Oh. Help!
You want to try to get out?
Help! I'm
Come
stuck.
back in a couple hours.
So one day I had the idea to fill my parents' storm cellar completely up with popcorn. So I ordered 50 pounds of popcorn kernels in these 3 air popper popcorn machines and got started trying to find the best way to completely fill up the storm cellar. I moved the machines from the top to the bottom like this, and I left them on for quite a while, just spraying popcorn all over the inside of the storm cellar until the floor was almost getting full. But it wasn't going fast enough, so we had to come up with another idea. I got this popcorn machine out to try to make everything go faster, but it just started pouring rain. So we were forced to make all the popcorn inside. We got these machines going like this, and we just let them go for a long time and started filling up all these trash bags with popcorn. And after a lot longer of popping and popping, we had one full trash bag of popcorn.
One trash bag full.
So I took it out to the storm cellar to see how much of a difference it made. And all it did was completely cover the floor, so we had a lot more work to do. We left the things popping for like an hour until we completely filled another trash bag full of popcorn. And I tossed it on in, and this is what it looked like. And I estimated we'd need about 8 times the popcorn. Wow, we spent hours upon hours devising the perfect popcorn popping strategy, running 3 poppers non-stop, filling up bag after bag until we literally had 16 bags of popcorn, and all the popcorn was popped.
Here goes the first bag.
Now all that was left to do was to fill it up bag by bag and have some fun. I dumped every single trash bag full of popcorn into the storm cellar one by one like this until we were completely out. And then I jumped in.
Whoa!
My parents' storm cellar was completely filled and I was completely surrounded by popcorn.
I'm surrounded by popcorn.
I did the most logical thing and buried myself in it, and then I got up and my girlfriend got inside the popcorn. And then I let my brother give it a shot as well.
Whoa. This is so weird, dude. I'm in a storm cellar full of popcorn right now. I'm gonna completely cover myself up. I feel like a popcorn king. Should I eat one? Pretty comfy. Looks like it's snowing popcorn.
So let me know what else I should do with the popcorn. So after trying to sell a fake Gail Lewis Walmart vest to the pawn shop guy, he could tell she didn't really sign
I don't
it.
think she actually signed it. I think it's someone else maybe just going as her.
But she actually saw the video and thought it was hilarious. So I asked her if she would sign a real vest that I could take to the pawn shop, and she agreed. So my friend Brennan gave me his old Walmart vest, and I sent it off to Gail Lewis, and this is the video I got back.
Hey, it's me, Gail Lewis, Morris, Illinois, 844. I'm going to be signing a Walmart vest. Bring it in.
She actually signed her real signature and sent it back to me.
The real Gail Lewis signature. Time to sell it.
And I boxed it up and took it back into the pawn shop to show him the real deal.
Hey, you remember my Gail Lewis vest, right?
Oh yeah, the one that had the signature on it?
That signature before, it wasn't like exactly real. But this is the real deal. Gail Lewis reached out because she saw the video. She actually signed me a vest.
Oh,
So
that's cool. You sure it was her, not just some
yeah,
picture on...
I have proof.
What in the world?
Oh, that's my friend's old name tag. Ignore that. There's a signature.
Oh yeah.
This right here is the real Gail Lewis signature.
And he got on his phone to verify.
It looks a little better than the first time around. What proof do you have besides this? You said you had some proof?
Yeah, here.
Hey, it's me, Gail Lewis. I'm going to be signing a Walmart vest. Bring it in.
And after showing him the video, he was
Oh,
convinced.
it is the same one.
Now that you know this is the real deal, let's talk money. These things went for like upwards of $400,000 on eBay until it got banned.
So it didn't really sell for $400,000.
No.
What do you want for it?
I think 10,000's fair.
You think she would sign one for me if I just sent her a vest?
I mean, maybe. She's pretty nice.
I'd give you $100 for it.
And that was way too low.
Do you have an eBay account? Put it on eBay. Maybe I'll bid on it.
Yeah, I'll just put it on eBay. You're gonna regret it when I sell it for way more on eBay. You could have done the same thing.
No problem. Have a good day.
So like and comment if you want to see me put it on eBay. So after my last video of buying a jar of oil from this oil man for $25 a jar, I thought I would be able to turn around and sell the oil to the pawn shop for more money, but it turns out it wasn't worth
You
much.
paid way too much for it. I'd give you probably 50 cents for it.
And I was pretty upset about it and felt scammed, so I drove back out to the oil field to get my money's worth. And just as I started filling up my jar, the oil man pulled up.
You stealing my oil?
And I explained to him that I wanted my money back because it wasn't
only
worth what I
worth
paid.
like $1.
But he offered me a deal
Not
instead.
only will I give you your money back, but I'm going to let you work for me all day long.
So we had a deal and I got
to
busy.
climb up that big old tank, look out there and see if all of my wells are pumping oil.
And my first job was getting up high to check on his well.
Everything's pumping like a dream.
That's great. Now on to the next job.
And then I got dressed for the next job that was out in the oil well. My job was to grease up this oil well so it would pump oil more
You
efficiently.
got to get this well pumping real nice.
So I finished that up and had another job.
I want you to take this bucket and I want you to walk it over to that oil well.
So I did what he asked and carried the bucket all the way over to the other well.
There's one born every minute.
And he shared lots of wisdom.
Oil is life.
And my last job was to get this well pumping again.
Any oil whatsoever. And I want you to make it pump oil.
And I was committed, and after messing with it for a few hours, we got it going.
We're making oil.
And at the end of the day, he seemed pretty happy.
I couldn't be more proud of you. There's all your money back. I appreciate it. Son, is that a Tesla in my oil field?
Yeah, that's my car.
Today I'm attempting to make the world's strongest glass called a Prince Rupert drop, which is pretty much indestructible unless you break the tail. I started out just melting this glass with propane, but only got it hot enough to do that. So we stabilized it like this, but only got it hot enough to bend it. So I ordered this completely different type of glass, but was only able to bend it as well. So I bought this new yellow gas that's supposed to burn way hotter, and it actually melted the glass way better. And after a while, the glass was actually dripping and dropped into the water and created what I thought was a Prince Rupert drop, but it broke. For some reason, the glass completely shattered in the water, but we knew how to do it now, so we did it again. And this time it dropped in the water perfectly, and just like that, I had created a perfect, beautiful Prince Rupert drop.
It's perfect.
And it had a tail that apparently, if it gets broken, is supposed to completely shatter. So it was time to put it to the test. Starting with the hammer, we whacked it a couple times and it was fine. Then I hit it again like this really hard, and still no damage, so we put it in the pliers and accidentally broke the tail off like that. But for some odd reason, it didn't shatter and it still wouldn't break.
Oh my gosh.
So then we just dropped it from really high, which did absolutely nothing. So my last resort was to just drop this brick on it, and that accidentally completely smashed it. In my last video, I attempted to create a Prince Rupert glass drop, which is basically a piece of glass that is indestructible unless the tail is broken. And I thought I succeeded because it looked like a Prince Rupert drop, and we couldn't seem to break it no matter what we tried. But I accidentally broke the tail off, and you guys told me that meant it wasn't a genuine Prince Rupert drop. So today I'm trying to create a genuine one, and I also started off trying to make a colored one, but it instantly broke when it hit the water. Because apparently the colored ones are way harder to make, but I tried one more time, and this time I was only able to melt it and bend it like this, and it wouldn't even fall. So yeah, I couldn't really make a colored one, so I just resorted to trying to make the genuine clear one that would break when I smashed the tail. In first try, we got what looked like a genuine Prince Rupert drop just hanging from this long glass strand. I put it first through a few durability tests, and it held up just like the other Prince Rupert drop and wouldn't break. Here I am trying to squeeze it as hard as I could with pliers to break it, but nothing happened. So it was time to go for the tail. Then I just grabbed it directly by the tail with these pliers until it completely snapped. But the drop didn't break. So comment if you know what I did wrong. So after finding a lot of gold in these dirt bags, I wanted to try to smelt it all into one gold bar. But as you may know, I sold most of my gold to the pawn shop guy.
For $57.
So my first step was buying it back.
Hey, remember that gold I sold you? The little bits of nuggets?
Yeah, the little stuff you found in the bag.
Yeah, I was actually wanting to buy that back. Do you still have it?
This it? What are you going to do with it?
I'm gonna melt it into a bar.
Are you going to sell them with a bar when you get done?
Maybe, yeah.
So then he just let me buy it back for what he paid.
Thank you, sir.
Then I left and went to a local jeweler who was going to help me melt it down.
Wow.
Oh, how are you?
I gave him my little bits of gold, and he said he could melt it all down in this little crucible. He threw this borax on it so it wouldn't stick, and then got out his torch and started pouring the heat on it. And I watched in awe as he kept throwing the borax on there, and pretty soon the gold was looking like a little pearl. Then he gave me the torch and let me move it around with his tool that made it move like a squishy little ball. And it was so small we didn't really even need to pour it in the mold, but we did anyway, and it looked like this, a perfect little gold ball.
That's amazing. It's like a little button.
Then I took it to the pawn
It
shop.
looks a lot better than it did. Well, it's not very big, though. Did he test it to see what carat it was?
He said it's about 18 to 20 probably.
18 to 20. That's about what I'd guess. 1.2 grams. You want to test it to see what carat it is?
Yeah, let's test it.
And he used all these different acids to test what carat it was.
20 carats, probably.
How much is it worth?
$73.68.
That's a lot of money.
How much you got invested in that?
Like 200.
Wow, that's a heck of a return on investment right there.
Wait, so how much would you pay for this?
I'd probably give you $70 for it.
You know what? I'm gonna keep it for now. It might go up in value.
If you want to buy some gold, just come look me up and I'll sell you some gold. You don't have to buy bags of dirt to get gold.
Oh, okay.
So in my last few videos, I've been trying to make a genuine Prince Rupert drop that's indestructible but snaps when you break the tail. But every time I broke the tail, all of my drops did not break. So today I'm attempting all your suggestions to make a genuine Prince Rupert drop. The first of which was melting a drop into ice cold water. So I melted it until it fell in the icy cold water, and just like that, we had our next drop. I pulled it out of the water and it looked super pristine and genuine and survived the hammer test. But when I chopped off the tail, it did not break. So the next one, I was going to use ice cold Gatorade, and you guys also said to focus on melting the bottom of the drop only and twisting the heat so it burns evenly, so that's what I did. It looked so cool next to the blue Gatorade, and I was sure to burn every single angle, this side, and here it is from above. It looked so pretty. And eventually it melted completely into the Gatorade like this. And after pulling it out of the Gatorade and looking at it, it looked slightly different, like it might be genuine. So I applied the pressure on the tail and snapped it. But the glass drop did not break. Bruh. So after finding and melting all the gold inside these dirt bags into one gold piece, we were left with this tiny speck worth
$73.68.
And you guys told me to buy even more dirt bags to get even more gold to add on to our 1.16 grams of gold. So I bought the cheapest and the most expensive bag on Amazon to compare the two and see how much more gold we can get. Starting with sifting the $23 bag, we immediately found gold. I put the first tiny speck in this container and then I found another little speck. And throughout the bigger chunks, we kept on finding little specks of gold, so we moved on to the finer sand that was sifted out, and then found the smallest piece of gold we've seen yet. And after a little more searching, this was all the gold we found in the $23 bag, weighing 0.06 grams and worth about $3.40. And then it was time to sift through the $130 bag of dirt. It was a lot darker and there was a lot more dirt, so we had to sift through it twice until we were eventually left with all the bigger chunks that I poured out onto the table and spread out, and immediately found a big chunk, and then found the biggest chunk yet. And I even weighed it, and it weighed 0.35 grams. Yeah, this more expensive bag was already looking better, and we kept on finding big nugget after big nugget. Then my brother did one final search through and found this pretty nugget, and after that there was pretty much no visible gold left, so we resorted to sifting like this and found this big chunk and all these other ones. And with all the gold found in the expensive bag, we brought the total weight to 1 whole gram, worth about $56. So I've been trying to make a genuine perfect Prince Rupert drop. And in my last video I attempted using a way bigger jar to see if that would work, but it wasn't enough and the drop still didn't shatter when I snapped the tail. So this time I found this all new type of glass on Amazon that's for glass blowers, so I'm hoping it will melt better and allow me to create the perfect Prince Rupert drop. I also was sure to focus the heat on the bottom of the drop like you guys said. It fell into the water like this and it looked pretty perfect. You could see some bubbles inside of it. I grabbed it by the tail and then clipped it and it didn't shatter. So I clipped the tail one more time and it still just looked like this. So yeah, that's a lot of failed Rupert drops, but I had one more idea. A tall jar combined with this glass might be the right combination of things I needed to create a genuine Rupert drop. The drop got red hot and then melted into the jar like this and just kind of floated in the center. I then dumped it out and the drop looked perfect. I was pretty sure this one was going to be the first genuine one I had made. And like you guys told me, I clamped it on the very end of the tail like this and snapped it, but the whole drop did not shatter. So let me know if I should try something else. So for the last 2 years, when it was cold enough, I've frozen these giant water balloons. And this year, I bought 2 giant water balloons because the temperatures are in the negatives. The first step was de-thawing the hose in the hot tub to get all the ice out, and then hooking it up and getting the water going. I zip-tied the first blue balloon to the hose and started filling it with water, and after a little while, it looked like this. I let it keep on filling to get to full size, and it was done. And I had to use my bare hands to undo it and zip-tie it, which was really hard because it was like 0 degrees out. But then it was time to fill up the red balloon. I started filling it with water, and after a little while, it was done. And we had 2 6-foot water balloons ready to freeze overnight, and the next day it literally looked like this. It was completely snowy and the balloons were covered in snow. And both balloons were rock solid and looked like they had completely frozen overnight. I dusted both the balloons off as it continued to snow on them, and then I started cutting into the red one. And as soon as we cut the balloon, we could see the water bubbling inside of it and leaking out. Then I threw a frozen water bottle at it to see how strong the ice was. Then I finished pulling this thing out and stood on the frozen water balloon, and it was really sturdy. And it was really heavy, but I managed to pick this up, and it looked like a giant ice ball. I then got in it to sit in it and see what it felt like. And we had come up with the idea that you could literally sled in this thing if you wanted to, but then I fell in it and broke it, which actually showed us just how thick the ice was, so we threw it up in the air like this. So satisfying, and this was the biggest chunk I managed to get over my head and so drop. Like the video if we should make the blue one a real sled we put behind a car. So this is part 2 of getting kicked out for dyeing my parents' pool red. After getting kicked out and turning this storm shelter into my new home, you guys commented saying that I should turn it into a gaming setup. And so today, to make the most out of living in here, that's what I'm gonna do. I came out of the storm cellar and then went to sneak back in to grab a TV and an Xbox. I stole this TV out of the spare bedroom and took it back to the storm shelter, and then I went back to grab this Xbox and Minecraft. And lastly, I just needed power, so I got multiple extension cords and hooked it up until I had my Xbox. I loaded an old world I hadn't played in forever, and I was actually playing Minecraft in the cellar. Let me know what else I should try. So one day I set out to make the world's biggest paper airplane. First, I went to Walmart with my minion to gather all the supplies, poster board, and Gorilla Tape. I then went home and taped 4 pieces together like this and started folding it into an airplane. And because of the size of the plane, it was a bit flimsy, so I had to reinforce it with extra tape. The plane was now ready for test flight 1, which went pretty smoothly. Look at it go. I then climbed up onto this shed and threw it again, and I hit a tree. But the next flight soared for quite a while. Whoosh. So I decided to go even higher. And remember, don't try this at home.
and the plane flew like a perfect giant airplane. So one day I bought a tiny inflatable bouncy house to float down the creek in. It was pretty bouncy and seemed like it would make a pretty good boat. I flipped inside of it like this, and then it was time to test it out. We took it to the creek, walked it all the way down over a bunch of rocks and stuff. I jumped in and I was off. I did it. I was floating down the creek in a miniature bouncy house. I bet my parents are proud. My goal was to make it all the way to the stronger current over here, but I got stuck, so I had to push it out. But after that, I was flying. The bouncy house was moving so fast. Then we approached this fallen tree that I actually made it through. And the bouncy house was a success. Comment what else I should try. It's been a minute since I made a rubber band ball video, and a lot of you have been wondering where it was. And it's been here, in my garage. And I bet you're wondering why it's here. It all started when I had to move it out of my warehouse. So that was a big process. Because it's 1,700 pounds and requires heavy machinery and a big trailer to move it. It got on the road and then went into my neighborhood, which is where we unloaded the ball like this and pushed it on into the garage, where it's set here for a while. And I'm not done with the rubber band ball series, but for now, the rubber band ball's taking a little break. So one day I ordered the mug that won't spill, the Mighty Mug. I tested one of these out before, and the mug is really hard to knock over. Which makes sense, because it's known to be the unspillable mug. But I wanted to test how unspillable. I kept punching at it, but it wouldn't knock over. Then my brother hit it and tapped on it a bunch. We got it to fall, and then I hit it with a frying pan, and that didn't knock it over, so then I put it on top of my truck. Which did. It fell on the pavement, but still didn't spill, so I had to go to extreme. My baseball bat, which made it kind of spill. Yeah. So one day my girlfriend's fish died, and she was really sad about it. So I had an idea. I would surprise her. I was going to cheer her up and buy her something that could never die. A robotic fish. They don't need food or anything and swim just like a real fish. I opened up the box, pulled out the bowl and the fish, and look how it moves. I filled this container all the way up with water to really see him in action, and then plopped him in. Look at him go. I also added this never wet sand, and look at him swim around. But I wanted to put him in the original fish's tank to see my girlfriend's reaction, so stay tuned. Part 2 of surprising my girlfriend with a robotic fish because her fish died. So I got her this new fish at Target that was a robotic fish that could swim just like a real fish. I mean, look at it go. And this fish will never die. I put it in her tank, and then I told her I had a surprise. So you know how your fish died?
Yeah.
I got you a new one.
Why is it clanking? Is it one of those robotic fish?
The good thing about this one, it can't die. You like it? So one day someone said I should try to place the rubber bands evenly and see how many rubber bands I can actually fit on the watermelon without breaking it. So that's what I'm going to attempt. I have a bunch of rubber bands, and starting with the first package, we placed the entire thing on the watermelon like this. It looked really cool, all evenly spread out. Then we took the other package, which had a lot more bands, and placed it for a long time. Then the colorful bands like this. And the more bands we placed, the more we realized it wouldn't break. So we had to try to smash it with all these bands. And it was doing pretty good, so I went on the roof, and then I got scared and threw it off from here. You could hear it crack, but you couldn't really see it besides the leak. So I threw it again, hit it, and yeah. So one day I hired a real-life minion army to raid and invade Walmart. We sneaked our way through to this random aisle where my minion army suited up for battle. Once everyone was suited up, they lined up and paraded their way through Walmart. Our goal was to make it the entire way through Walmart without getting kicked out and put every single eyeball on us, and it was working. Everyone was looking and staring and following the minions. I then led the minions all the way to the bananas, and this random guy ran up and tried to take control of my army, harnessing the power of the banana. And the full video with all the minion invasions is on my YouTube, link in the description. So one day I had a ton of waterproof spray, and I was going to make myself completely waterproof. I bought a bunch of clothes, this shirt, this swimsuit, and this sponge to test it all out. To turn myself completely waterproof. Starting with these shoes, I sprayed them all over completely until they were completely covered. Then this shirt, which I completely covered as well, and this swimsuit, you can see how it got like all wet, and this scrub daddy as well, and it needs 24 hours to dry, so come back tomorrow to see me test it all out. It's part 2 of trying to completely waterproof myself with waterproof spray. I had a bunch of different stuff, these shoes, this shirt, this swimsuit, and this scrub daddy. I soaked everything in the spray and came back 24 hours later to test it out. The scrub daddy still held a bit of water, and these shoes had the water beat off them like this. Then I threw the clothes on and had my brother throw water on me. And I couldn't believe it, the water ran right off both the shirt and the swimsuit like this. It was crazy. It literally just repels the water. But then it was time to put the shoes on and walk on water. I looked at the pool and stepped in. And I went under, but the swimsuit still resisted all water and was dry. One day, a while back, I tried to smash this giant water balloon with my giant 1,700-pound rubber band ball, but failed until the small rubber band ball took it out. Today, I have another giant water balloon, and I'm going to see what all random items I can use to try and break it. I got a llama, a watermelon, a pumpkin, and a bunch of other random junk, and then started filling the balloon all the way up like this. Eventually, the balloon was full, and it was time to
to test it out with the plunger, which didn't break, but it did suction. Then this llama that just broke. I then threw the pumpkin that surprisingly didn't do anything, and this tiny rubber band ball, and this water balloon. Then my watermelon didn't do anything either and was perfectly intact. The balloon was holding up really well, so I threw this hoverboard at it, and then I broke out the shovel. Yeah, like this video if you want to see me try with the giant rubber band ball again. So one day, a while back, I spent part of the day in these bouncy kangaroo shoes that are supposed to make you run fast and jump high, and I did a bunch of different stuff in them, but today I'm in them again, spending the entire day in them. Starting out, they made me kick this basketball surprisingly far, and then I went on this little walk, almost fell, kept on going, and then decided to take the kangaroo shoes off-roading. I walked on the dirt, then almost went up this hill, started running, and then went back home. My fridge was kind of dusty, and then decided to make some breakfast in my kangaroo shoes, doing normal everyday activities. It was pretty hard, but I made it, and then I took out the trash. Then I wanted to go to a trail, but I had to ride in the truck bed because I couldn't fit. Then I got to the trail and started running like this. I couldn't run very well in them, so I went to the gym to try to work out. People gave me some odd looks, so I went to the back room to train. Yeah, ropes, pushing this weight thing, then jumping high. And then I left. Let me know what else I should try. So one day I ordered some of the world's biggest candy to give out tomorrow on Halloween night. And I also went to the store to buy a bunch of full-size candy bars for when I run out of the giant candy. And I also went to this other store to get some more giant candy like this Dum Dum and this Hershey's bar. I piled all my candy on this table like this, my gummy bear and my gummy worm, which I decided to keep one and try it out. It was really good, and we were ready to go for tomorrow to give out the giant candy. So my giant rubber band ball started from placing rubber bands around a watermelon, and today I bought a really big pumpkin to see if I could make the same results. We had a ton of bands, dumped them out, but most of them were too small, so we could only use the colored bands, which we ran out. So we had to go to the store and get more. Then we kept on placing until eventually it collapsed. But it only left us with this hat and a boat. So one day for Halloween, I bought the world's biggest candy to give out. All the giant gummy worms and chocolate bars. So I started out with just regular full-size bars, switching between all the different kinds of candy.
Thank you.
Kit Kat.
First full-size bar, man. Thanks.
And then it was time.
I know you. Is there any chance I can have a giant gummy bear?
Here you go, my man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, here you go, bro. We started giving out the jumbo candy left and right.
You guys still have those big gummy bears?
Here you go, bro.
Hey, thank you, man. You're cool.
Dum Dum.
Can I please have one of those giant gummy bears?
You're in luck, bro. It was time to give away the biggest candy we had. You can have this.
I can?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you. I know we were
And then people randomly started asking me about my rubber band ball.
Sick of that rubber band ball?
Yeah.
Are you the rubber band ball? Oh, my God. You that really big rubber ball band?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
So I did the only logical thing and invited everyone to see it.
So one day I went to the gas station to make another crazy random slushie. Last time I made one of these, you guys said it looked like diabetes in a cup. Well, today my goal is to make it taste good and still be healthy, which is why I'll be adding protein powder and other workout supplements. I got busy placing the Lifesavers in, the Airheads, and these cool looking Skittles. I put some ice in the cup, then added protein and this stuff, and just like that, the mix was ready to blend. I chopped it all up, and bam, here was my smoothie. Genuine reaction, here we go. Not terrible.
So one day, after 2 years of taking this tiny rubber band ball to the pawn shop and a bunch of other random stuff, I was tired of being underpriced.
I don't think I'd give you $10 for it.
So I had a plan. I would stick it to the pawn shop and create my own pawn shop right in front of his, proving that all my stuff was really as valuable as I said it was. He was gonna regret rejecting all my offers. And now it was just time to sit there and wait for the customers to roll in. This isn't going as planned. And shortly later, the pawn guy came out.
Dude, what are you doing out here? Dylan's pawn?
I started my own pawn shop because you wouldn't buy anything from me.
Probably get arrested for not having a business license, tax license.
I didn't know what he was on about, so I just showed him my stuff.
Is this a new plunger?
A rubber band ball, my beautiful painting I made,
It's just as ugly as I remember it.
a Rubik's Cube.
It's not even solved.
I got this cool thing. It's like a punching bag.
You think you're going to be able to sell that?
I'm gonna sell it for big money. And just as I was done showing him my stuff, he said this.
I'm thinking you're probably going to have to pack up and leave.
You don't want me here?
I'd probably give you $20 just to leave. I'll be here in 10 minutes.
So one day I wanted to test out if turning an egg into a rubber band ball would protect it from a drop. I poured the rubber bands out and then started placing them on the egg, hoping it wouldn't make the egg just collapse from the tension of the rubber bands. But it didn't, and I completed it, and it looked like this. It was a perfect ball. We took it to this high place. I threw it up in the air, and then I walked it to the ledge. I was confident in my rubber band ball saving the egg from any damage. I looked over and threw it, and let's just say you shouldn't cover your eggs in rubber bands. Let me know if I should make this another rubber band ball. So today I bought the world's most powerful Nerf gun, so we're gonna test it out and see if it's true. And yeah, it really was extremely powerful, so I pranked my friend Brendan, then shot the wall again like this. Then I wanted to see how far the bullets would go in the air, so I shot it like this.
Oh, I see it.
It went extremely high. Then I somehow convinced my friend Brendan to let me shoot it.
Oh, right in the butt.
So one day I wanted to make a real life flying reindeer that would look like a flying reindeer from the sky. It just required a powerful drone, some rope, and this inflatable reindeer. The first attempt didn't go so well because the rope was way too heavy and the reindeer wouldn't fly. So I brought the drone back down and got a way smaller rope, and it actually took off. It was crazy. It took all the drone's power, but look how high up in the sky the reindeer got. It got to the point where you could barely even see it in the sky. Wow. I couldn't believe we actually got this thing to work. We flew it back down to the ground, and like if you want me to prank someone with this, or comment what else we should do. So one day my brother was just metal detecting when he stumbled upon this old pocket watch buried in the ground. We wanted to know more about it and what it was worth, so I had the idea to take it to the pawn guy we always go to. My brother, Jack, he's metal detecting in our backyard, and we found this really valuable pocket watch. Really old and antique-like. We think it might be rose gold or something.
Well, we can test it.
Said Hong Kong and...
Hong Kong. They're not really known for their quality watches.
He looked into it with this little thing,
Hong Kong made. Here.
and then did a scratch test in this little droplet thing to see if it was actually gold.
It is not gold.
How much do you think this thing's worth then?
I would probably just go put it back in the yard.
Disrespected. So everyone wants an update on the giant rubber band ball that started from a watermelon. It's now 1,700 pounds, and I haven't worked on it in a while. I broke this glass thing trying to move it to the center of my garage to work on it, because we have a ton more bands that we're going to use to place on the ball. We're going to be placing 25 pounds of bands in one sitting by looping them all into 2 separate strands like this. It takes quite a while to loop them all into strands, but it's pretty satisfying to watch. The bands just disappear until we got 2 giant piles. Look at it. And the ball is still a long ways away from the world record of 9,000 pounds, so let me know if you really want me to keep at this ball and try to break it, because we still have so many more boxes of bands and more on the way, so like if you want me to keep going. So one day while I was filming a creek video, it all went pretty wrong. It all started as a pretty simple video. I just wanted to test this inflatable lounger out as a boat. You just get a lot of air in it like this, and then my plan was to sail all the way down the creek. The creek was freezing, so I was hoping I wouldn't fall in, and it was working pretty well at the start. I was basically just enjoying a pretty relaxing float trip with the goal of making it through all the heavy current, which the inflatable lounger did, making it through surprisingly well. The only thing is I forgot there was a fallen tree.
Don't pop it. No, stop. Oh God. Ah.
Yeah, I was really struggling to make it through the tree without falling in the icy cold water.
Shit. Lost the oar.
But somehow I managed to get all the way through the tree without falling in. What happens when you run over a tiny rubber band ball? Today I wanted to test out a bunch of random stuff getting run over and see what would happen. I got a bunch of stuff at Walmart and also made this little aluminum ball. Starting with this stress ball, we're going to run it over and see what happens. And it completely popped it with the back tire. There was a bunch of white stuff that came out, and then I decided to do the bath bomb, which got shattered as well. Then silly string by this car, and it was really cool because it like kind of snaked out like this and destroyed the can. Then this ball, and then the tiny rubber band ball and the aluminum foil ball. The aluminum foil ball got completely flattened. Look at it. And last was the tiny rubber band ball, which I thought would hold up because it's a rubber band ball, and it did. It's perfect. It's rubber band ball part 102, and I placed a massive order for some rubber bands. Hello. We need tons of bands. I want over 1,000 pounds delivered ASAP. And now, after putting a big dent in my bank account, we have a ton of rubber bands on the way. But for now, we're going to place a normal box and just run through the normal process of looping a ton of bands onto the ball. Soon, we'll have enough bands to get the ball all the way to 3,000 pounds, which will be crazy to see how big and heavy it is because at 1,700 pounds, we can barely even move it. So stay tuned and like if you want to see me try to place all the bands in 24 hours. So one day last year when it was freezing, I tried to freeze these giant water balloons. And this year it's even more cold, so I got these 4 24-inch water balloons I'm also going to be trying to freeze overnight. I started by trying to thaw the hose to make sure the water would clearly move through, and then let this balloon fill all the way up and zip tied it in the freezing cold. Then we just had to do one more balloon for safety to make sure we got one that would actually freeze, and they both filled up like this. Then it was just time to wait overnight. We came back and one of them kind of broke and looked like this, so we just started smashing it for the funsies. Smashing ice is one of the most satisfying things. Then stabbing this frozen pool, moving on the pool, and opening this one. It went everywhere. So So one day when it was really cold, I had an idea to take my giant human hamster ball and put it on this frozen pool. We made sure it was safe, and then we put the hamster ball on the ice, and I got in and started airing up. It was really cool and cold. Then my brother threw a snowball at me. What a meme. But I continued airing up all the way until it was completely full. Then I just started walking around, and it was really slippery. The hamster ball was literally sliding on the ice. It was so cool. I continued running in it and trying to make it slide as much as possible to see what would happen, and it felt like the most insane experience ever. Just me and a giant human hamster ball on a lake of ice. Let me know what else I should do in this hamster ball. So it's rubber band ball part 103, and we ordered over 1,000 pounds of rubber bands to place on the ball. I literally have enough rubber bands to get my ball all the way to 3,000 pounds. We also got these crazy red rubber bands that we've never used before. So we got to it. We're going to loop these 2 boxes, starting with the natural rubber bands that we looped like this, which always is a fun process, just looping nonstop, eating french fries, and placing onto the ball. Then we took a break afterwards and came back the next day to do all the red rubber bands, which created this one really long strand of bands. So we took it out to the street to see how long it was, and it was crazy. It was like a giant jump rope, except really heavy to pick up. Then we placed all the red bands on the ball, and it should weigh over 1,800 pounds now. Like and stay tuned for more. So one day I wanted to put the famous purple mattress to one final raw egg test. The mattress is advertised to protect an egg at any cost, and in the past when I've tested it, it has to some extent. I carried the mattress over my fence and set it down, and it was time for level 1, the fall test. I fell back onto the egg and it survived. So I moved on to level 2, jumping on it with full force, which the egg also survived. So for level 3, I had a different idea. I got out my super powerful Nerf gun and shot the egg, which worked, but kind of defeats the entire point. So I had 2 more tests in mind. I got out this brick in the yard and threw it at the egg, but missed. So then I threw it again and the egg broke. Yeah. But for the final level, I wanted to climb up super high and do a super slam on the egg. I got up on top of my shed and jumped. I landed perfectly on the egg and survived! So one day, my brother and I wanted to compare the cheapest food in our town to the most expensive food in our town. We first went to McDonald's, and my brother ordered off the dollar menu. We got a chicken sandwich and a small fry for like $4. And Jack enjoyed the fry. It was pretty good.
Fries, always good.
Then I started looking up fancy food places and found this place. I looked for the most expensive meal I could find, and then I placed an order for pickup. It was $70. So I drove there, and the place was actually super fancy. I felt really cool. There was these cool sculptures, and it was just a really neat place. I waited in the car a little bit for my food, and then they brought it out. I then took it home to try it out. I was about to eat the most expensive food I'd ever had. Pretty good, but $70 is a lot of money. So one day, a while back, I made this trampoline out of rubber bands, and it was really cool until we destroyed it like this, and had to throw it away. But today I had the idea to recreate it with a big trampoline and even bigger rubber bands. We then got out a big pile of bands that we made into this giant loop, and it wasn't really working. So I realized I had to create a bunch of different strands of bands that perfectly stretched across the trampoline, which was a process. We looped all these rubber bands and then took them to the trampoline and started placing them on. And after a little while and a lot of bands, I tried to get on it, but it wasn't ready yet. So we continued until we had all the rubber bands placed completely on the trampoline, and then we tested it out. We couldn't believe it. It was actually holding us up perfectly, and it was super bouncy. It looked so cool underneath, and here's me on top of it. It felt like just a giant bouncy web. Then my girlfriend jumped on it and almost hit the bottom, and my brother almost fell through. So like if I should jump off the roof.
So it's part 104 of building my 1,800 pound rubber band ball. And today, instead of just looping rubber bands, my brother and I decided to try and build the world's biggest rubber band. We made it super long enough to span across the street several times. Here it is all the way around, me speeding past it. Yeah, it's really long. I put it all in my car and then took it back home to place on the rubber band ball, which didn't take very long, and bam, just like that, 50 pounds of rubber bands on my ball. This is the first ever rubber band trampoline, 100 pounds of rubber bands on this trampoline frame.
I'm going to be getting on it and testing it out. It's hard to kind of get on because the bands are kind of scattered until you get to the center. And now we're going to try bouncing. It's easier to bounce on like your back and your stomach because you cover more bands. The hard part when you go to stand up and bounce. Whoa, dude.
So one day I decided to test a new method of doing DoorDash delivery. With FaZe launching their FaZe subs, I wanted to see if we could make them fly and deliver them through a drone. All you would have to do is stand there and wait for your food to fly in. But during the first test, the bag caught wind and flew about a mile away. It eventually came back, but then flew away again, so we had to hunt it down, and we found it in this tree. Yeah, it was really high and I knew one thing.
I cannot let that sandwich go.
I had to do everything in my ability to get the phase sub back. My first idea was just to climb the tree. I used to do it all the time, but I realized it was too high, so I got out this really long stick, which wasn't quite long enough. And with rain coming, we had to get the sandwich out soon. My friend Joe had an idea. He knew this professional tree climber who could climb the tree and save my sandwich and my drone. This guy was crazy. He was the best tree climber I'd ever seen, but after long struggle, he couldn't quite get to it. But with a stroke of luck, the bag was ripped, so we went on the other side and found the sandwich on the ground. And it was still amazing.
Bussin'.
So you guys keep wanting me to add way more rubber bands to this giant rubber band trampoline I've been working on. So that was the plan. I was going to add even more rubber bands. But as soon as we got started, we noticed an issue. The metal was literally bending and I was scared it was going to break. And I didn't want that to happen. So I bounced on it a few more times with my brother like this. We went really low and then we started just disassembling the entire trampoline. It was really sad, but I didn't want it to hurt us and the trampoline was fun while it lasted. Comment anything else we should turn this trampoline into, but now it's a trampoline. So this is part 2 of trying to build a working trampoline out of saran wrap. So we put all the plastic on we could last time and only got this far. So I ordered a ton more on Amazon and we got busy. I was first focused on making the middle as strong as possible. Then we made this little side thing and eventually we started going the other way once we felt like it was strong enough to completely strengthen the entire trampoline. And it was working. The trampoline was feeling so strong. We added a bunch more until I felt ready to jump on the trampoline. And with the trampoline feeling really strong and sturdy, I got on and started bouncing and it was completely stable and held my weight perfectly. And I even started bouncing like a normal trampoline. It was crazy, so like and let me know if I should add even more and see how far I can take this.
As to putting a circle of salt around my Tesla makes it not move, let's try it.
So basically all you do is put a ring of salt around a test like this and it's supposed to make it not drive. So we're going to test it out. I bought a ton of salt, filled this entire bowl up completely with salt. Felt really cool. Then I backed my Tesla into the middle of the cul-de-sac and poured the ring all the way around it until it looked like this. It was really weird. And now it was just time to test it and see if it actually worked, which it failed. So I put it in reverse and it also failed. So let me know what else I should try. One day I bought a ton of bubble wrap rolls to cover my entire body in bubble wrap and test if I would be safe rolling down a hill. And it took a while, but I had my brother cover me completely in bubble wrap, arms, legs, and everything, and it was really hot, but I felt strong and entirely ready to take on this hill. I walked up to it like this, got on the ground, and started rolling. I got up to pretty high speeds. You can't really tell on camera, but I was flying. And when I tried to stand up, I couldn't see straight. Will a stranger shave their beard for $100?
Excuse me, sir. Would you shave your beard off for $100? No. What about $200?
No, about 1,000.
Yeah, we didn't have much luck at Walmart, so we went to this local bike shop where we knew 2 guys had beards.
Hello. You guys both got beards?
Yes, I do.
Would you guys shave your beard for $100? He's got a big beard.
Look how much this grows.
I probably would.
It's so cool. I've never shaved anyone.
And just like that, it was my first time shaving someone's face.
You go like this, right?
So I got started buzzing this guy's face, and I'd never really done this before, so I was pretty nervous, but everything was going smooth.
I'm training to become a barber. You think I got what it takes?
I'd say.
So I just continued shaving his face with my Manscaped buzzer, doing a really good job. Then I let him finish it.
Runs. Finished product.
Wow.
Here, I'm gonna give you 200.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
So one day while I was at Sam's, I saw this hanging tent thing that I knew would be perfect for my zip line. So I bought one, waited in this long line, and then it was time to build it and put it on the zip line. I had basically no plan going into this, so I was surprised that it connected perfectly and sat on the zip line. So with it being all set and ready to test out, I climbed on in, and my brother pulled me all the way up and let me go. And yeah, it was a blast, so I let my brother try it out. He was kind of scared, but he sent it anyway, and it looked so cool. We literally made the first ziplining tent. Here's my POV racing through this thing. Let me know what else we should try. So one day, my friend Brendan really wanted this brand new Inagi scooter I had. So I told him if he really wanted the scooter, he had to agree to a week-long challenge. At any point during the week, I could ambush Brendan with the world's most powerful Nerf gun. It shoots insanely hard. Brendan accepted the challenge and went off on his new scooter. It was going to be in Brendan's best interest to try to hide from me, seeing as he gets the scooter either way. So I spent the week trying to map out his entire schedule, attempting to follow him everywhere he went. Brendan was doing a pretty good job of avoiding me because I looked everywhere without much luck, but little did he know, I was always one step ahead. On the last day of the challenge, I camped out at his favorite place, the gym. Eventually, I found his scooter laying in the bush, so I knew he was there. I proceeded into the gym with my Nerf gun drawn, ready to make my attack, until eventually I saw him. There he is.
So in my last video, I tried recreating my mini trampoline I made out of rubber bands by making a huge trampoline using giant rubber bands. I could bounce on it and everything, but you guys wanted me to add even more rubber bands. So that's exactly what I'm doing. We have another 25 pounds of rubber bands here to double the amount currently on the trampoline. So my brother and I got started looping them all into strands and placing them evenly around the entire trampoline over the center so it would have extra support. We also made sure each strand had a lot of tension, and we just kept going. We had a couple more strands left, finished it off, and bam, the trampoline was double the size. I then went under and got on it to test it out. I couldn't believe how strong it was now. I tried bouncing on it with my feet, and it kind of worked, but it was really unstable. But even with all my weight bouncing as much as I could, the trampoline didn't hit the ground at all.
That's insane, bro.
So then I went again and tried to fully stand up and bounce on it like a normal trampoline. The only problem was all the bands made it really unstable and easy to fall through. So just let me know what else I should try.
It's part 3 of building this giant rubber band trampoline, and you guys just keep wanting me to add more rubber bands, so we're gonna double it, making it 100 pounds of rubber bands on this trampoline. Here's a little time lapse of clouds going by until we had it built. The world's first ever rubber band trampoline with 100 pounds of giant rubber bands. And this time there was so much tension that when we bounced on it, it barely sank down. It was like a real trampoline, and my goal was to bounce on it like a normal functioning trampoline. I got up and started bouncing, and I actually made it happen. It was insane. Some of you guys commented saying I should put a tarp over my giant rubber band trampoline. That way I wouldn't fall through and it would make it more like a real trampoline. So I bought this tarp at Walmart, made sure the trampoline still worked good. It did. Then I opened up the tarp and threw it on. We spread it out. It was a pretty big tarp, pretty sturdy. I flex taped it onto the trampoline and tested it out. And it still bounced great and definitely made me more stable on the trampoline. I then attempted a front flip to see if it would catch me, and it did. So let me know anything else you want me to try. So one day, after making this giant rubber band trampoline, I had an idea to make one completely out of plastic wrap. We got started taking the trampoline off, then getting all the plastic wrap ready, and trying to figure out a pattern we wanted to go with. We started out just going back and forth over and over again, trying to make it as strong as possible with all the plastic wrap we had, until we completely ran out of plastic wrap, and it was pretty cool looking. I sat on it, but it still needed more, so like if I should keep going. It's Rubber Band Ball Part 105, and after building this giant rubber band trampoline, we took it all apart to put on the ball. We have over 100 pounds of rubber bands to place on the ball, which will make it almost 2,000 pounds. Like, this ball does not budge one bit. Then we just got started wrapping them all around the ball, which was way more tedious than usual because they were all separated into way smaller strands thanks to putting them on the trampoline. After a while, we tried to move it again, which was a fail, but we got tired and came back the next day to separate all the bands to make it easier. It looked like this. Then we placed them on the ball, which took way too long. Here's a long time lapse of it until it was completely finished. And yeah, it looks a little bit messed up, but like if I should keep going. So one day people wanted me to take my dog Remy to the pawn shop to see how much they would give me for her. And I always do what the viewers want, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We got her a pup cup first and then took her on into the pawn shop.
What's up, Dylan?
Oh, hey.
What in the world is that? Is that a dog?
Yeah, this is my dog, Remy. I was bringing her in to see if you would be open to a pawn.
If you pawned it, that means you want her back?
So first, I wanted to see if you could just hold her for a little bit, you know, give me some cash, and eventually I'll be able to get her back.
How long do you think that would be? Like till this afternoon or tomorrow? Or
I was thinking like a week or more.
did you bring any food that she eats?
I have some of this.
I don't think you're supposed to feed dogs chocolate. I think it kills them.
It's really special. She has this hop.
I then showed him my dog's unique hop in hopes it would motivate him to buy her.
Hops like a rabbit. Huh, that's interesting. Does that add value to her because she hops?
Mm-hmm, because there's not many dogs like her.
Does she do any other tricks?
Yeah, she does lots of tricks. Watch. Remy, sit. Sit.
Huh.
Remy, sit. She's really smart. And,
She looks like she would be.
You know, she'd make a great pawn shop pet. I mean, you could probably just buy her. She's worth a lot of money, probably like $3,000.
$3,000 for a hopping dog?
And then I had to explain to him why I thought Remy was worth so much money.
Because I like her a lot, but I do need the money.
What did you actually pay for when you bought her?
I pay about $300.
I would probably go $100.
Oh, that's a disgrace to Remy.
If she catches this ball right now while you're holding her, I'll give you $150 on her. I'll keep her for a week.
Remy, catch.
And this was it, the moment, truth. I could fulfill all the prophecies and give my dog to the sky. But sadly, the mission was failed.
Come on, Remy.
See you later. Have a good day.
So one day my friend invited me to see this cave deep inside their backyard. It was so crazy, and it gave me the idea to put a gaming setup down there and play Minecraft inside a real cave. So I bought all the supplies necessary to make this possible. Then we put a ladder deep inside the cave, and it was time to explore and find the perfect spot for my setup. When I got down inside the cave, it was insane. There was 2 tunnels on both sides I could go down. I went down this one, which led to this little opening where these stalagmites were that are supposed to be over a million years old. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So stay tuned for when we play Minecraft inside this cave. So it's part 2 of trying to play Minecraft deep inside a real-life cave. In my last video, we explored the cave, but today we're going to put the entire gaming setup down there. First, we had to run this extension cord 500 feet from the cave to this shed, plug it in, and then started putting stuff in this backpack to lower it all the way down into the cave. It was a process, slowly lowering all the devices down into the cave to complete the setup. Once everything was down there, it was time to test out the electricity, and it actually worked, kind of shockingly. We were literally going to be the first people ever to play Minecraft inside a real cave. I hooked it all up, plugged everything in, and it was on. I just logged into Minecraft on my old account on the Xbox 360, and it was running. We had Minecraft in a real cave. So then I just did the only logical thing and started cave mining. Let me know what else we should try. Full videos on my YouTube. So one day my brother and I agreed to a giant paper airplane battle. The loser would get shot with the world's most powerful Nerf gun. So we went to Walmart for supplies, and I decided on poster board and tape. And my brother got this weird, thicker type of board. The criteria we would be judged on is size and functionality. So I got started building mine first, and my goal was just to make a pretty basic giant paper airplane. And then it was Jack's turn to build, and honestly I don't know what his goal was. He just kind of randomly started putting pieces together. Then there was a real airplane in the sky, and it was done. And we were both ready to take them head to head and decide on a winner. I let Jack go first with all his throws. This one was alright, this one kind of did a flip, whoa, this one went decent, and that one was kind of a glider. Then I went, and I already started off with an advantage because my plane was already bigger. It kind of did a bunch of nosedives, but flew pretty well. We agreed I won, and Jack got shot. Ow. One day I saw this crazy looking little water gun on TikTok, and I knew I had to test it out. I immediately ordered one, and it came the next day. I sat down, opened the water gun up, and it looked pretty legit. It was pretty cool. I filled up the magazine with water, and then it just started spraying. It sprayed pretty fast. It wasn't very hard. I shot this can at it, then I shot my mouth and my face, and it just shot really rapid fire, and not as hard as other guns like this Nerf gun, but still pretty cool. Let me know what else I should try. So after testing the Tesla Salt Trend multiple times and having it never work, I had one more trick up my sleeve. I bought this spray chalk, and I was going to trick the Tesla by making these fake lines. The spray chalk makes the lines look exactly like road lines, and I just drew one big box all the way around the Tesla till I ran out and had to use pink. Got it on my hand too. But then it was just finally time to test it out and see if it would work. The car detected my brother, but no lines, so I just backed all the way up and accidentally hit my dad's mailbox. And he was kind of upset. Comment anything else I should try. So you guys commented saying only in Ohio would you pay $140 for a rubber band ball. So I had the idea to take my tiny rubber band ball all the way to Ohio. My rubber band ball flew all the way on an airplane to its new home in Ohio. The goal was to find a place to hide it where somebody would take it as a gift to the people of Ohio. I looked around for a spot until I found this table and set it down. I waited. Not too long after that, this man approached the table and started playing with the ball. And then he took off with it. So one day, my friends and I traveled to the most haunted tunnel in Ohio with the idea to stay the entire night there. Apparently, multiple people have died here, and it's reported to have lots of suspicious activity. Hello? Is anybody in here? Then we ran into this local who told us about the tunnel.
I take it you guys aren't from here? Back in the day, there was a town here. Town dried up, it got abandoned. Supposedly haunted. I've never seen any ghosts.
And seeing as we were out in the middle of nowhere with no service, he guided us back to Walmart where we got a tent and a light and headed back out to stay the entire night there. So one day I saw this great idea for a cabin in the woods made out of plastic wrap, so I hauled my plastic down to the woods and found the perfect spot. I found 4 strong trees, and with my brother's help, we got busy building our fort. We started by just wrapping around these 2 trees until it was pretty strong, and then we started wrapping all the way around a bunch of trees. It was a lot of work, but it was coming along, and we were determined to build the best plastic wrap cabin. After a time lapse and a lot of plastic wrap around a bunch of trees, it was beginning to look like a real cabin. Our cabin had everything. It had an entrance, a place you could sit down, and it was really durable. Let me know if I should add more to the cabin. So it's part 2 of building my plastic wrap cabin in the woods, and you guys wanted me to add more, so today we're going to be adding a roof to the cabin like this picture. So we went back out to the spot and found some big sticks to try to make a roof that we could wrap the plastic wrap around. And then I just got to wrapping a bunch of plastic wrap back and forth, which was really exhausting, but we eventually had something that looked like a roof. And let me give you guys a little tour of the setup right now. When you walk outside, we have an awesome view of the road, and the road has an awesome view of the cabin. And inside the cabin is the most luxury plastic living space ever. Let me know what else I should try. So one day I set out to build the best paper airplane known to man using this styrofoam board. I drew up my master plan and got to work building. The plan was to build it and then throw it off the highest place we could find in our town. I cut up all the pieces and placed them together like this, and then added one final thing to the bottom. taped it all together, and the plane was done. The plane looked kind of funky, but we put it in a truck, strapped it on down, and hauled it all the way across town to this really high hill thing. And it was really windy, so the first throw kind of got taken entirely by the wind. The next throw was actually really good, and the plane was starting to shape up. Then my brother had an almost perfect throw. And after that, I tried to hang glide with it. This is the world's most powerful water gun that I've made several videos about, and they came out with a 3rd edition of the water gun, so I had to try it out. Apparently it had a new mode, and I was really excited to test it out. I filled it up and started shooting it, and it seemed like the normal water gun, so then I switched it to the other mode, and it had this rapid fire mode that I ended up using to kill this wasp in the air. Pretty crazy. Then I washed my car with it, and it got a lot of dirt off, pretty clean. And after that, it was finally time to let my brother shoot me. Here was the normal blast, and then the super one. So it's part 2 of filling my giant hamster ball up with 500,000 Orbeez and getting inside of it. We started pouring the Orbeez, then the next day poured even more Orbeez, and the next day it looked like this. And when I aired it up, it looked kind of weird, so I moved it over, washed it off, and then it was time for me to get in the hamster ball. I got in, aired up, and it was pretty cool. It was just a big pool of Orbeez inside a big dome. And the Orbeez were actually super soft. I splashed them all around, made waves in the Orbeez, spread them all around. Then I just started doing a bunch of random things like falling in the Orbeez, dumping them on my head, spinning around in circles, and trying to move the hamster ball, which didn't really work out, so then I just got out of the hamster ball and jumped on it. So one day you guys commented saying to put my girlfriend in my giant human hamster ball, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I aired her up,
Feels kind of hot in here.
and she was off.
Hey guys, I'm currently inside a giant hamster ball.
She just wandered around in it and then came back, and I tried to knock her over like this. And then I attempted to jump on the hamster ball, and it looked pretty funny actually. And then she just started running super fast away from me like this, but eventually came back and we both got in the hamster ball. It was the first time I've ever put 2 people in a hamster ball at one time, and it was kind of cool. We bounced it up and down like this, walked around some more, did some running, and fell and flipped like this. So one day I ordered another huge giant dome like the one that I previously filled with water, and I put it on my trampoline to air up and see what it would be like. We got everything together and then began airing up the dome. The dome completely aired up on the trampoline, and it was just one big bubble tent thing. It kind of reminded me of my giant hamster ball, but even bigger. I bounced around and made the whole dome bounce up and down on the trampoline. Then I started running in circles, spinning the dome every which way. And here's what it looked like from inside the bubble. It reminded me from something in a cartoon. I then realized I could stand up and walk in the bubble like a hamster ball, so I started spinning around and then bouncing some more. And then I decided to run off the trampoline and run around in the yard, which felt really crazy and looked pretty insane. So let me know what else I should do in this ball. So it's part 106 of adding on to my nearly 2,000-pound rubber band ball. Everyone's been telling me to make another rubber band ball video, and they've also been saying the ball doesn't look really round anymore. So today, when we got done looping all the bands, we attempted something that hasn't been done in a long time, moving the ball. And to our surprise, it actually moved.
Did it actually move?
And because of it moving, we could actually tell how messed up it was, and we needed to fix it. I put some blocks under the base to keep it from moving, and then we placed the entire strand of bands on the ball and made it look a little bit better. So like, if you want me to keep on going. So one day I saw this video that really shocked me. Apparently an egg can hold a certain amount of weight in between electrical tape if it holds a certain shape. So I'm going to test it out. I put the egg in between the tape like this and then got out a dumbbell. But I couldn't quite balance the dumbbell, so I got out these bricks. And the egg held one brick perfect, and it really amazed me. So I put another one on, and it was still balancing both of them together. So then I decided to try to put the dumbbell on as well, but it crushed it. So then I wanted to see how many bricks it could hold, and it crushed it 3 as well. Let me know what else to try. So one day I was at the store and I randomly saw this apple juice that used to be a trend because it sounded like an apple when you actually bit into it. So I decided to buy some and see if it still worked. I took it back to my house, opened it up. It still looked the same. I bit into it.
It doesn't sound anything like an apple. Did it even taste like apple juice?
And it still tasted the same, pretty good. So I gave it one more bite to see if it still sounded the same. And I was so disappointed, it barely sounded like an apple. So then I just tried to chug it as fast as I could. Subscribe. So one day everyone wanted me to go back to the pawn shop guy that I've tried to sell my giant rubber band ball to and see what he would give me for it now. So I brought a picture of the rubber band ball along with a bunch of other random stuff to try to pawn off.
Oh my gosh, Dylan again.
Oh, hey.
What's happening?
I was running short on some cash, so I figured I'd bring in some more stuff to try to pawn off.
Is that a plunger?
This is like a package combo. We got these bouncy moon shoes, and then you take the plunger and you can like stick it to walls and stuff. You just put these on.
So then I tried to demonstrate what I meant.
Oh yeah, it works good.
And I told them how much they were worth.
Maybe like $500.
$500. Where'd you buy the shoes at?
The internet, maybe?
I just bought one of these plungers and it only cost me like $4. It's even seasoned more than this.
Yeah, he ended up passing, so I got out my next item.
These nuts chocolate bars, one of a kind. 6'9", 420 sticker. Yeah, you can have all this for $100.
$29.99 for a 10-pack on Amazon. Do they have nuts in them?
No, it's peanut butter.
It's called these nuts. There's no nuts in them.
Then he tried a piece for the first time ever.
They're really not that good either.
Well, that'll be like $10 since you already bit it. Do you buy guns?
How old are you?
Old enough. This is the world's most powerful Nerf gun. Hear that, Rad?
Let me see that. I like that. You ever been shot with it?
Yeah, it hurts.
It leaves welts.
It does, really?
Yeah.
Can I try it out?
Yeah, I guess.
Whoa. That's pretty neat. What do you want for this?
I'd say like 400.
Probably better pass on that.
You remember my rubber band ball, right?
Yep.
Everyone wanted me to ask you how much you would pay for the rubber band ball now.
What am I going to do with it? It won't even fit through my front door.
That would be an attraction to your store.
I'd probably go $500 on it today.
You got way more than that in bands.
How much you got in bands?
Thousands.
I thought you needed money.
Then I got out my hat to sell.
For $50, you can have that hat.
For $5, I'll take it.
And we actually had a deal. We were starting to make some cash. So then I tried to sell him my cash gun, and he really liked it. He even put real money in it. He took a bunch of real hundreds, placed it in the gun, and it shot.
Spit out $1,000.
Bam, we had another deal.
$5.
I couldn't believe he was actually buying my
Here
stuff.
we have an autographed picture of a celebrity.
Who's that?
Oh, that's me.
What's it say here?
That's my autograph.
Were you famous in this picture? What's this worth?
I don't know, probably like $100.
$5?
Yeah.
Sweet, I'll do $2.
I sold my autograph and walked out like a baller. So one day I ordered one of the world's largest eggs to attempt the exploding egg trend that happens when you microwave a boiled egg. The egg was so big I could hear the yolk inside of it. And because the egg is so big, it has to boil for 2 hours, so I put it in the pot and then I got out another ostrich to run some tests while the other egg boiled and see how it was different from a regular egg. Up first was standing on it, because apparently you can stand on one without it breaking. And you can. And here's a regular egg. Next I attempted to crack it with my hand, and it really hurt and felt like a jawbreaker. And the normal one cracked with ease. Then I tried to see if it would float in the hot tub, but it sank. So then it was hammer time. I wanted to actually get through the eggshell so I could see what it looked like inside. I got through, and it was insane. It was more egg yolk than I've ever seen in my life. And the shell looked like a dinosaur egg or something and felt really cool. Now it was just time to mix it up and try it out. I whipped the eggs, poured them on the stove, and cooked them. They looked just like regular eggs, but I took a bite and...
Tastes like egg.
And at that point, the boiled egg was ready for the experiment. It was time to find out if the giant ostrich egg would really explode or not. We opened it up and pulled it out, and it was huge and smelled kind of funky. I put it inside the microwave, and it was go time. I let it microwave for a minute as normal, then took it out and tried to stab it. But it didn't explode, sadly. But we tried it. Let me know what else to try. So one day, people were commenting on this video where I tried to boil this giant ostrich egg and microwave it to make it explode, and they were saying I needed to add more time to the microwave to actually make it explode. So I ordered another ostrich egg, and today we're going to be trying it again and boiling it longer and microwaving it longer. I waited around for the egg to boil, hit a tree, and then it was boiling over like this. I cleaned it up, and then I put a regular egg in there to boil to see what it would be like to do the microwave trend on a regular egg first. Once the eggs were boiled, I hammered the shells off, and then I put the little one in the microwave to test it out, and it started doing this, and it was really crazy, and then it popped in the microwave like this. So now that I had confirmed the egg trend works, I put the giant egg in the microwave and put it on 5 minutes. I also heard a pop after a minute, so I checked on it, stabbed it, and it didn't blow up, so I put it back in the microwave for longer, and I heard another pop. I checked on it, and it was completely sizzling out of control like some sort of mutant egg, but sadly never fully exploded. Let me know what else I should try. So it's now been 3 years since the start of my nearly 2,000-pound rubber band ball. It started out as just a tiny little ball and grew into something huge and to what it is now. And for the last several months, we've been working on something insane to go along with the rubber band ball. The rubber band ball now has its very own game. You can play and roll around as a tiny rubber band ball that gets bigger and collects bands and then is able to smash stuff and even eat other rubber band ball players. And the game is available for free in the App Store. Click my link in bio to pre-download. So one day you guys wanted me to buy something from the pawn shop guy and then attempt to sell it back to him for more money the next day. So that's what I'm doing.
Howdy, actually looking to buy something. I'm looking for something worth about maybe $100.
Probably coins about all you can probably figure out. Have you ever heard of the Binion hoard? Binion casino owner actually had went to his accountant and said, hey, if I wake up dead tonight, that means my wife killed me. The next morning, he was dead. Took all of his coins that were in a vault out in the desert, and they had them all graded by NGC. But basically, that just means it was part of the Binion collection. They range anywhere from, say, $50 for this really bad one here. You know, this one's a little bit nicer. $300 on this one because of the toning on it.
My plan was to buy one of these weird coins.
It was worth $100.
This one's probably in the 100 range. I'd probably let you have it for, probably $90.
All right, let's do it.
It's real money, right?
Yeah, that's real.
All righty there. There you go, sir.
Pleasure doing business.
And then I walked out the pawn shop with my coin and came back the next day to make bank.
Hey,
what's up, Dylan?
Today I've got something very special to sell. This is a rare Binion coin.
I've actually seen that before.
Oh, you've seen one like that?
Yeah, just like it.
Well, I was thinking I could sell it to you for about $200.
What makes you think that?
Well, I Googled it.
Yeah, here's the same one. This one sold on eBay for $86.
And he basically told me all he could give me was...
I'd probably give you $60 for it.
Deal.
You want to sell
And
it?
just like that, I had a $30 loss and nothing to show for it.
$60. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Let me know any other great ideas you want me to do. So one day I saw this challenge where you pay $10 and if you can hang for 2 minutes straight, you win $100, and I thought I could do it easy. I gave the man my money and I hopped on the bar, but my legs almost hit the floor because they're way too long. And it started out pretty easy, I was pretty confident, but the trick is the bar spins, so when you change your grip, it gets progressively harder and harder. And as the time went on, I could feel my fingers crumpling by the second. I tried taking my mind off the pain, but my body literally couldn't hold on anymore and my fingers slipped at 48 seconds. So after attempting to explode a giant ostrich egg by boiling it and then microwaving it, we failed and it did not explode like a normal egg. So we tried again at the comments request for even longer and it didn't work, but we have another egg to go again. I boiled the egg and then cracked it open with a hammer, and this egg is slightly smaller, so I'm hoping it'll work this time. Look at the shell drop, so satisfying. This time I'm going to be putting it in the microwave for 4 minutes because that's the approximate time where it starts to pop in the microwave, and if it doesn't pop, we're going to take it out and stab it. It began going and then I heard a big boom and sizzling, so I opened the microwave and it was doing this, so I put it back in because it wasn't fully exploded yet, then took it out later and tried to stab it. Yeah, no explosion. So one day I went into the gas station and came out with over $100 in scratch-off tickets. $1, $2, $5, and a $20. My goal was to see if I would make a return on my investment or lose it all. I started with the $1 scratch-offs and lost in the first one, but I kept going. And the next one was a winner, so far I had broke even. And surprisingly, I kept winning. $5 here, $1 there, until we had literally made our money back on the $1 scratch-off tickets. So we moved on to the $2 tickets, scratching them. And we were not having near as much luck. So I had my brother try, thinking he would be lucky, but he lost as well. So we tried the other $2 tickets and lost pretty much, and then got all the $5 tickets and started winning. It was so crazy. We kept on winning. I won like 15 on this one ticket and over 40 in total, bringing our total to $69 won back. And with one $20 ticket, we could win it all back, but we lost. So one day I went back to the pawn guy to try to sell him this mystery box.
I got something you might want to buy.
Oh, an Amazon Prime box.
No, this is a mystery box.
You know it's got bird shit on the top of it, right?
We have a bird nest. You can only open it if you buy it.
So I don't know what's in there.
No, it's $100.
$100 for a box with some stuff in it. Sound like a bunch of trash.
Hey, whoa.
Is it breakable? I don't think I'd give you $100 for it. I might maybe take a chance for like a quarter.
Well, I can't do that, but let's see what you missed out on.
You gonna make me suffer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So we have this one-of-a-kind art piece, basically a replica of Starry Starry Night.
Wow, who signed that?
I have this rare artifact called the Magic 8 Ball.
That's witchcraft.
Tells you your destiny.
Is this box garbage?
Without a doubt. And this gold chain.
Wow, that looks almost like the one I've got on.
Yeah, only this one's real.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got this flying ball.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Does it fly?
Yeah, fly.
I showed him the flying ball and then he offered me a mystery box of his own.
Hey, why don't I sell you a box that I just bought? And we could use this to see if you buy it or not.
Wait, what is it?
It says United States Mint. You're not supposed to open it.
Did I buy the box from the pawn shop?
That looked good. So then I sat there and thought long and hard.
Once you think about it, and I'll just leave.
So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. If this gets enough likes, I'll go back and buy it. So one day, after running multiple durability tests on these giant ostrich eggs, including running it over to see if it would crush it, I got another egg. Because today I'm going to be turning the giant ostrich egg into a giant rubber band ball to see if it makes it any more durable. I started by completely covering it in bands, and it was pretty cool, so I decided to add another bag to make it even stronger, and it looked like this.
You can't even tell there's an egg in it.
Yeah, it just looked like a rubber band ball at this point, so I decided to add one more bag for extra durability, and then we ran our first test, a small drop. And it did fine, so I kept increasing the height. Waist high, then shoulder high, and it cracked. The ostrich egg was just pouring out yolk, so I ran and threw it again to make sure it would bust completely. And then I threw it on the ground again, and again, and it leaked all the way through. Let me know what else I should try. So this is my over 2,000-pound giant rubber band ball, and we've tried in the past to crush giant 6-foot water balloons with the rubber band ball, but we kind of failed, and had to resort to throwing a tiny rubber band ball at the water balloon instead. But this all gave me a new idea. The ball is even heavier now and way harder to move, especially with just 2 dudes. But I ordered another giant water balloon because if we can get enough people to download the new rubber band ball app that's based around my actual rubber band ball before the release date of July 8th, then I am going to be renting a giant crane and dropping my rubber band ball completely on the water balloon. So download and prepare for the drop on July 8th. So after failing to try to sell this mystery box to the pawn shop guy,
$100 for a box with some stuff in it. Sound like a bunch of trash.
and he still didn't want it even after showing him everything inside, but he did have an offer for me.
Hey, why don't I sell you a box?
He had this random green box for $200.
You're not supposed to open it.
So I asked the Magic 8 Ball what I should do.
That looked good.
And I still couldn't decide, so I decided I would leave it up to the audience. And you guys wanted me to go back and buy it, so here I am.
Everyone told me that I needed to buy the box.
How much did I tell you?
200.
Do you want to feel it again?
Yeah. Alright, here you go.
You have real money?
What's wrong with that?
Did him terrorize you.
Well,
You can go to jail for that. You know that, right?
alright, well, I got some real cash here.
Is that the right ones?
Yeah.
Those look real.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
tore that. Alright, see what's inside.
And inside was a bunch of US Mint coin sets leading all the way up to my birthday.
What year were you born?
2003.
The year you were born. The one I pulled out.
I thought it was pretty neat.
Have a good day.
And I walked out with my coins.
How many rolls of duct tape does it take to build a trampoline? 1 roll of duct tape. 1 roll. Not enough. 2 rolls of duct tape. 3 duct tape rolls. Ah, not enough. We're gonna double it to 6 rolls of duct tape. This is 6 rolls. Yo, it holds me. No way. We have 2 more rolls left. Yo! Adding 2 more rolls. 8 rolls! Oh, this is pretty comfy, dude. Wow, 8 rolls is pretty comfy. But does it bounce? Standing fully. I can see my neighbor's yard. Whoa, dude, it's bouncing. No way. Dude, I did not even expect it to bounce. See how high. Whoa! It works.
So one day, after testing how many rolls of duct tape it takes to make a duct tape trampoline, we discovered it takes 8 rolls to make a bouncy and workable duct tape trampoline. And now I'm buying double the tape because everyone in the comments wants me to cover even more surface area of the trampoline. And my new goal is to make it where 2 people can easily bounce on the trampoline. And after a very long time, we had 16 rolls completely on the trampoline. I got on it and the stability was insane. It felt like stronger than a real trampoline and it bounced pretty good. Here's an underneath shot to show you how springy it is, and then we both got on and bounced just fine until my brother fell off like that. So comment and let me know anything else I should try to make. So after building a working trampoline entirely made of duct tape, you guys commented wanting me to fill the entire rest of the trampoline with duct tape. So I literally bought all the duct tape Walmart had and began adding it to my trampoline. We started out just going back and forth across the trampoline like this, adding as much duct tape as possible to each line, attempting to fill as much space as possible until we'd already used 8 rolls, and it felt like this. It was pretty good, but we still had 4 rolls left. So we then began just trying to fill in all the gaps so it would cover the entire trampoline. And after a very long time, pretty much the entire trampoline was covered and it was ready to test out.
First test, bounce.
I tested the bounce and it was pretty good, but I almost fell through one area.
Second test, back flop.
The trampoline perfectly held my back flop, so I attempted a flip after that. And it worked perfect. Tell me anything else you want me to do. So one day I wanted to simulate the scene of the Titanic where Jack and Rose were on the door together. I wanted to test for myself to see if they would both be able to survive, so I put some salt in there to make it feel like salt water. Then I got my brother to help me out.
This is my brother Jack. He's gonna be playing Jack from the Titanic.
Whoa.
Oh wait, Jack doesn't get a life jacket.
That is cool.
So was the Titanic.
We then put Jack on the door first to see how sturdy it was, and it was pretty unstable. He was slowly sinking, and then the door flew away. Then we both got on to simulate Jack and Rose, and then we used the method of putting the life jacket underneath the door for extra support, and we both made our way on the door, but it continued to sink, so we tried with just me, but I fell off as well.
Coming, Rose.
One day, people wanted me to run over one of these giant ostrich eggs that literally takes a hammer to break it open with a car. So I ordered another egg, and we're going to be doing exactly that. But first, I'm going to run a bunch of durability tests, like throwing it at my girlfriend, and standing with all my weight on the egg for as long as possible, which the egg could handle with ease. So then I tried to put it on my zip line, but I accidentally dropped it, and I was really sad about it. But we had to keep on running tests, so I got another egg and threw it in the pool to see if it would drown, and it sunk all the way to the bottom, so we had to get it out with this net. But we got it out, and then I tossed it to my brother, then I rolled it down the hill like this, see how far it would go. And then I had the idea to hit the egg as hard as I could, but it did nothing but hurt my hand. And then we had one final test before we ran it over. This firework. I lit it on fire and it blew. But it didn't hurt the egg at all, so we stuck it underneath the tire of the truck and ran it over. And it just flew like a soccer ball, so we went back on it like this and completely crushed the egg. Let me know what else we should try.
How many hangers does it take to zip line? Starting out, we have 1 hanger. That did not work. 2 hangers. Let's go. Stepping it up, 4 hangers. Got this. We got a full pack of 10 hangers. Surely this will hold me. Oh, it's holding. Oh. Ow, my butt.
Yeah, I was in a lot of pain.
We got 20 hangers. This does feel pretty sturdy.
At this point, it felt too dangerous, so I convinced my brother to carry on.
This does not feel safe.
Go, brother.
Is this in my contract?
We don't have a contract.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
Oh, it was working. You're gonna be a star. He's gonna win.
And my brother did it. He was actually ziplining on the hanger, so then I tried, but my legs were too long, so I got to run at it like this. And I kind of did it, but not as good as him, so he ran again. And it was amazing. And we found out it
Takes 20 hangers to zipline. Ow. Ah!
So one day, after building the world's first working duct tape trampoline, you guys wanted me to add a ton more, so I did. But it wasn't enough, so I'm going to add even more. The trampoline's almost done, but we still have a few more areas to fill in, so I got started making it extra strong and then filling in all the areas we missed last time. Until there wasn't a piece of the trampoline not covered in duct tape, and the trampoline was completely done. And it looked beautiful, like a work of art.
First test, getting on. It still bounces better than ever.
And after bouncing, I wanted to put it to the test.
Running around the trampoline.
And the trampoline seemed to handle me fine until I fell like this. And then I determined that the trampoline was not stable, so let me know what else I should try. So one day, after trying and failing many times to make these giant ostrich eggs explode by boiling them, then microwaving it and stabbing it, I had one more plan. I ordered another egg because a lot of you guys commented saying after I boil the egg, I need to let it sit in the fridge for a long time. So I let the egg boil, and then I took it outside to crack it open. I beat it in with the hammer, cracked the shell, put it in this bag, and then stuck it in the freezer. And I came back after a while, and the egg was pretty cold, so I stuck it in the microwave to try again. I put it on a minute, and I was going to take it out after a minute and stab it.
2, 1.
Microwave had stopped, I opened the door and stabbed it, but there was no explosion.
So one day I wanted to see how much a pawn shop would give me for my 1 million subscriber YouTube play button. So I took it off its spot on the wall and took it into the pawn shop guy to see what he would give me.
It's a big box.
I got something in this box. It's probably never stepped foot in this pawn shop. A one-of-a-kind YouTube plaque.
That's pretty cool. That look good right there.
I don't really need it anymore. I was just trying to see how much I think I could get out of this. They don't sell them, so it's very valuable. I was kind of thinking I wanted like $5,000 for it.
$5,000? Is it made out of gold?
It's a gold play button.
Feels like it's made out of wood. I mean, it would be cool hanging up in here. Probably not for $5,000. Let's see if we can find any of them for sale. There's one there for 139 bucks. Oh, it's a hardbound book to how to get 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, a book, because it takes lots of skill to get something like this.
There's some on here for $47 a piece. I tell you what I'll do. I'll let you pick a pocket. Whichever pocket you pick, you get the money that's in that pocket. Once you pick a pocket, though, you're obligated to sell me this for whatever's in that pocket.
All right, I'm going to do it.
Which pocket you want to pick, the left or the right?
You're right.
You sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Well, look what you got. 40 bucks. You want to see what you could have got? 500 bucks and it picked the wrong pocket.
And then he told me he'd feel bad taking my play button, so I just hurried up and got out of there. Comment anything else I should try.
If my brother can break this, he can have whatever's inside. Here is the only key to this safe.
It works in movies, so I'm gonna crack it.
So then Jack attempted the movie method, fully listening in on the fully digital safe. And it failed.
That failed. I need a new approach.
So he resorted to jumping on the safe, throwing the safe.
We're making progress already.
And Jack was starting to make progress, so I leveled him up. A hammer.
I am bound and determined to figure out what's in this safe. Nothing.
And Jack gave the hammer his all, repeatedly hitting it over and over again, but still not opening. So I moved him on to the next level, baseball bat.
Oh, we have an opening.
And the safe was literally starting to crack open, so we moved on to heavier objects.
This is my next attempt. Oh, we're in. You see inside.
And Jack had actually made it in.
Yeah, we're in. No.
And he was finally revealed his prize.
It's Feastables. Worth it.
How much weight does it take to pop a giant water balloon? First up, plant. Plant with more force. Plate, come on, break. Prime. See if it can withstand my body.
Yo! It withstands my body.
2-pound dumbbell. Skateboard. Yeah. Yeah. It's stuck. 3-pound dumbbell. 5-pound dumbbell. No way, dude. Crown Royal drop test. It's safe. The bottle is in perfect health. Sky high grass drop. It's fine. Go. Crown Royale versus pool. Die. Now my brother's gonna attempt to run it over with the scooter. We're gonna drop a rock on it. Waist high rock drop. Rock drop again.
So one day you guys wanted me to take a pair of these drippy water shoes to the pawn shop guy to see what he'd give me for them, and I couldn't find them anywhere on the internet, so I decided to make my own. I gathered the supplies and then I began water sealing this plastic bag over this shoe. It looked pretty good, so I did the same thing to the other pair and then I tried them on. My goal was just to make them to where they were walkable and could hold water. They looked really good and felt really solid. I jumped around on them like this, and then before we took them to pawn, we tried the water test, and it kind of leaked, but we took them anyway along with a bunch of other stuff.
Balenciagas. We also got this, the world's tiniest Rubik's Cube, and this brand new iPhone.
And then I went in the pawn shop.
Yo, I've got probably the coolest thing I've ever brought in here, honestly, and probably the most expensive.
Wow, did you hit the lottery or something?
Oh, no. I'm gonna show you some items first. I'm gonna save the best for last. First, we got this. It's like a Minecraft pickaxe. It doubles as a Minecraft sword. Yeah, you wanna see it?
It's pretty cool. How much?
30 bucks.
They're only $23 on eBay. For 10?
I'll do it.
And I set the tone good with my first sale.
Other thing I have is this iPhone.
Oh my, that's an oldie.
It's a little old and damaged. Probably still worth about $150.
It's not looking like it's coming on. Yeah, I probably ought to pass on that.
Oh, okay. Now I have the world's tiniest Rubik's Cube.
That is small.
Yeah, it's got smiley faces on it.
You got some quality stuff. I'll probably pass on that. I don't know where they're...
Do you see designer shoes very often in your pawn shop?
Yeah, we see them occasionally.
So you know, like, they're worth a lot of money sometimes.
Some of them.
In here, I have a one-of-a-kind sneaker. This is what I call Balenciagas. You put water in them, and then they're water shoes.
Had you maybe thought about using a heavier duty Ziploc bag?
No, this is part of the shoe. Let me just demonstrate for you.
Okay. Uh-oh. Do I make a mess?
No, this is just in case. So you can pour the water in right here, and then you have the drippy water shoes.
Drippy water shoes.
Oh, it holds water.
Wow. Got a little wet spot back there.
Ah, it's leaking. These are worth $5,000.
5,000? Well, go get me some tape and a bag and I'll make you several pairs.
You can't do that.
Looks like a pretty faulty design. Well, what kind of shoes are they?
It's Balenciaga. One-of-a-kind Balenciaga.
Where are those made at?
Yeah.
It says made in China.
What?
You said they're made in Italy. These say made in China.
They look like the legit ones.
How old are you? Do you need glasses?
I'm gonna go.
Maybe next time.
So one day I wanted to create an indestructible box for my giant ostrich egg to survive a really heavy fall. They're already really hard to break. So I ordered a brand new egg that came in this diaper, and then it was time to build something that would allow it to survive the drop off my roof. My idea was to put it back in the little box it came in, stuff it with stuff, then put it around this styrofoam, tape it up like this, put a pool noodle around it for extra support, and it was ready for the drop.
Ready for the drop test. Comment down below if you think it's gonna smash. 3, 2, 1, go! 2, 1, go!
I picked up the egg and I could see a little bit of dribble, so I opened it up like this and the egg was completely smashed. So one day I bought a ton of giant bottles and a ton of insulation spray to build and test this cool boat design I saw on the internet. The design is supported by a bunch of water jugs like this, and then a bunch of wood that we had to cut to go perfectly through the bottle. We measured out the wood to fit exactly through the bottles like this, and then we began screwing in the connecting pieces of wood to connect all the rows together. And with a few more boards and screws, we had 8 bottles connected together and ready for the platform. And I was amazed at how this was turning out. After we got these last boards on, the boat looked great, and it was time for the gap filler. We then moved the boat to start adding the great stuff. This stuff is just to keep all the bottles intact and together and to make it more buoyant for the water. I filled in between all the bottles, got around the edges like this, added a bunch more here, there, and everywhere, until I had used 12 bottles of great stuff and it was time to let it sit overnight, and the next day it looked like this. It looked insanely good. So we loaded it up and hauled it down to go test out in the water. I pushed it in the water like this and got on, and it was actually pretty stable. I rowed out further, hoping it wouldn't sink. And then I went all the way around the pond and even stood up on it. And then my brother wanted to test it out and try to make it underneath a bridge, so I let him go. He went off, started rowing, and we concluded the boat works great. So let me know what else we should try.
Jack, say what's up.
So after trying to sell my homemade drippy water shoes to the pawn shop guy like this,
You put water in them, and then they're water shoes.
Thought about using a heavier duty Ziploc bag?
he totally denied me and made me look like a fool.
Do you need glasses?
And you guys commented telling me to purchase fake Yeezys off the TikTok shop and try to sell them to him. So that's exactly what I did. They're more like house shoes and they cost me $35, but I'm going to be taking them along with this homemade boat I made to the pawn shop to see what I can get.
What's up, Dylan?
Do you remember the other day when I tried to sell you the water shoes?
Yep.
You didn't end up buying them?
Yeah, they were kind of crappy.
Have you heard of Yeezys?
Oh yeah, I've had some of those in before.
Well, I bought these Yeezys off the TikTok shop. Here they are.
What in the world? I think these are just house shoes. Shouldn't they say Yeezys on them?
Well, it said Yeezy on the TikTok shop when I bought them. They were $350.
It says right here, slippers. You get them on Amazon. I mean, right there, the same ones for $18.99.
What? I paid $35 for these on
I
TikTok.
thought you said $350.
Yeah, $350.
Well, at least you got a good pair of house shoes you can wear.
So you don't want them?
No, I'm probably on a pass.
I've got one more thing that you might want. It's outside.
You want me to go outside?
And I then took them outside to show him my boat.
I got a boat. Yeah, I made it myself.
Does it float?
Yeah, $500 and it's yours.
I made it. I showed him a video of it working, but he was uninterested. So then I just ran away. So one day I wanted to see if I could blow up an air mattress. I aired it to normal size and it was time to explode.
Air it up until it pops.
And it slowly began getting way bigger.
It's getting so big.
And as time went on, we could see it expanding as the air mattress got bigger and bigger, which even made the air pump disconnect.
This thing is so full.
And I took a break from airing it up to look at it. It was really curvy. I tried to throw it like this to see if it would randomly pop, but it didn't. So I just continued airing it up until we had another air pump disconnect. So I resorted to throwing stuff at it. I threw the shovel and missed, and then threw again, hoping for a giant explosion, but
That's all it did?
yeah, let me know what else I should try.
This is a 5-pound steel ball. I'm gonna be taking this and putting it in the zip line to destroy objects. These are the things we're gonna be smashing today. First item up, this jar. So it should swing into the jar like this. 3, 2, 1. What's gonna happen? First collision.
And it just knocked the jar over like this, so we had to put it back up to try again.
Attempt 2.
And this one missed it first as well, but then completely smashed the jar.
Oh my. Now for a cup of joe.
And next up was this coffee maker, which we also missed at first.
Oh! Jar number 2. Go, hit it. Oh! Dude, that one was insane. Next up, fridge. Let's go, hit it. Steel ball. Next up is a picture of my family. They left me.
And after destroying the picture, it was time to destroy this microwave.
Ah!
And last but not least was this old Mac.
Hit it. Hit it. Destroyed.
So the other day I bought this really old safe without a combination from the pawn shop.
Wait, how much was this safe?
$80.
It was nice.
Yeah, if I knew the combination to it, probably take it home and crack
And I
it.
knew I was gonna get
Is
inside.
there anything inside of it?
Maybe a Coney or something.
So I bought it for $80.
A brand new mystery safe. I'm gonna get in it.
And now I'm gonna try everything to see what's inside, starting with this 5-pound steel ball, which did nothing but dent it. So I moved on to the next item, this hammer, beating it all over like this, on top, on the side, on the bottom. And after that didn't work, I got out the bat, which just made my hands vibrate.
My hand. This is the world's most powerful magnet.
So then I took my magnet and pulled the safe down like this, and I noticed the bottom of the safe was really rusty, and I tried to see inside. And after beating the rust with my hammer didn't work, it was time to step up our game. Time to drill into the safe.
What do you think is in the safe?
Ham sandwich.
We got out the drill and just started drilling the lock like this until this thing came off. And it still wouldn't open, so I kept drilling until the whole lock came off. I then tried to turn it open, but just pulled the handle off like this. So we just kept beating the safe in like this until some more things fell off, and then it wouldn't open. So I kicked it, and then we resorted to sawing the hinges in half, which made it kind of open, but not all the way. So we tried taking the sledgehammer to it, and then I had the idea to cut from hole to hole on the rusted side. And I couldn't believe it. It was actually open. We were going to see what was inside the safe. I reached in, and this was the first item.
There is a Coney in there. Some change.
So we tried blowing up a giant inflatable air mattress and figured out we could blow it up by constantly airing it up and letting it pop layer by layer like this until it was super big and popped, which gave me the idea, can you do the same thing to a giant inflatable couch? So I ordered this $70 inflatable couch off Amazon, blew it up like this, and it was ready to test.
This couch is comfy. Cup holder.
We moved it out to the middle of the road.
Time for the couch to blow.
And then began inflating the couch. And in the first couple minutes, we could see the couch already start expanding, and it looked like as big as it would get.
We've hit the 11-minute mark. This thing is huge.
And we noticed every part of the couch looked about 5 times bigger than the normal size of it. So we kept going, and we could see the back of the couch expanding over the top. And it expanded so much, it left a tiny hole that we had to repair with the patch kit. The couch kept inflating without any signs of popping, and it's already lasted longer than the air mattress.
This is one durable couch.
And we continued to inflate it for over 40 minutes, and we found another hole. The pressure kept tearing holes before it blew up the couch, so we resorted to plan B, shooting it with a thumbtack. But it didn't do anything. So I just chucked a giant rock at it and failed. So after completely filling my storm cellar up with popcorn in my last video by using these air poppers to fill up bag after bag until we had completely filled up the storm cellar, I had a new idea with the popcorn. Clean it up and put it all in my hamster ball. I got out my giant human-sized hamster ball and then we started shoveling all the popcorn into the hamster ball like this. And here's a time lapse of scooping scoop after scoop of so much popcorn into the hamster ball. We aired it up and this is what it looked like. It looked really cool. And now it was just time for me to get inside the giant hamster ball full of popcorn. I got in, my brother aired me up, and it created like this tornado effect of popcorn around me until I was completely aired up in the ball.
It looks like one giant batch of popcorn.
And then I just tried it out. I did a run in it like this, and it looked pretty cool with all the popcorn. I then stood up and tried to do a couple flips in the popcorn like this, but it didn't really cushion my blow at all. So I then just ran as fast as I could in the popcorn and slid like this. And at that point, I was completely covered in popcorn, so it was time to get out. So one day I ordered these $400 giant crock boots to take them to the pawn shop guy to see how much he would give me for them.
That's a big box.
Yeah, I got something crazy inside of this. It's really hard to get a hold of these because they're really viral right now. You've heard of Crocs, right? Have you heard of Croc boots?
I've seen them before.
There we go. Here's some regular Crocs in there. These are the Croc boots.
Those things are hideous.
They're really cool, huh?
Oh my gosh. Somebody wore them?
I wore them around a little bit just to try them on. They're worth a lot of money and they're really viral right now. Celebrities are wearing them.
What do you want to do with them?
I just want to see how much you would buy them for. Worth about $500. Here, I'll try them on for you.
Man, those are hideous. Oh my god. Are they comfortable?
Yeah, they're really comfy actually. What size are you?
14.
Oh, here, let me walk around.
I did my best job showing off the croc boots.
Look at them, pretty sturdy.
Those are pretty cool. How much you say they're worth?
Like 500.
Let's look them up. Oh, there they are. $359 on StockX right now. I kind of like the looks of the red ones better.
The best I would be able to do is 400.
How much you get for them?
A lot of money.
Did you say 5? Because the receipt where you bought them is in the box. It says you only gave $354 for them.
Oh, what? We don't need to see that. It looks like I'm gonna have to walk, I guess.
So then I left with my croc
See ya.
boots. Today I wanted to find out if a pawn shop could tell the difference between a $20 fake watch and my friend's real $15,000 Rolex.
Hey, I got something. I'm just gonna get straight to the point. This right here on my wrist is a $10,000 watch. Yeah, you wanna look at it?
You know it's not real, right?
No, it is. They range like around 10,000.
The diamonds are actually glued in. They're not set in.
Oh, so you don't think it's real at
It's
all?
not real at all. Feel that.
Oh,
It doesn't have a name on it.
so how much would you give me for it then?
I would throw it in the trash for you if you want.
I paid $20 for this. Well, okay, well, I have a real watch in my pocket.
Oh, so now you're saying that was not real?
Maybe. This is a genuine Rolex. Take a
Think
look.
so?
Yeah, I think so. Look at it.
Tell by holding it, it's not real.
No, that's real.
How much you want to bet?
$5.
Let's bet on it. You're starting to see some silver coming through that right there?
Yeah.
Well, this is supposed to be 18 karat gold.
He then compared it to his real Rolex and told me it would say that it was 18 karat gold at the bottom. But to be 100% sure it was fake, I had him run a scratch test, a weight test, where it weighed about half of what it would weigh if it was real, then an acid test, and some other tests where he took off the backing and saw it didn't even say Rolex.
So they're both fake?
Yep, both are fake.
So yeah, my friend got scammed. Let me know what else I should do. How much real gold can you find in these toy sand bricks that you can buy at Walmart? Apparently 1 in 24 of these gold bricks that are made for children contain real gold. So I did the most logical thing and bought 24 bricks for $100 to guarantee I would find gold. I wanted to see if it was true and find out how much money the gold was really worth. I started out digging through the sand with the tools it came with, but it wasn't going well, so I got out this hammer and then just snapped it in half and revealed the obsidian rock. But no gold, so I carried on, snapping the bricks in half, finding another rock, but in the third one I found this.
It's gold! It's gold!
I opened it up and inside was the tiniest little speck of gold I've ever seen in my life. And after finding out all the other bricks contained nothing but rocks, it was time to see what the real gold was worth. So I took it to the pawn shop to find out.
I have a piece of gold. You see it?
That might be the smallest piece of gold I've ever seen.
I want to see how much it's worth. See if I can make my money back.
It's so small, I don't know if I could even
And after a thorough examination, he told me it was worth about $5 and then offered me.
I'd probably give you $2 for it. There you go, sir.
So one day I bought the world's biggest candy to hand out on Halloween night, and things got really crazy really fast. It started out normal and calm, giving out all the regular full-size candy bars.
I got these nuts! Can I have these nuts?
And everyone was loving it.
Can I have a nut tonight?
And then I started handing out the giant candy.
Thank you. Can I get one? Thank you. You're the best.
Can I have a nice turn?
And then things started to pick up as more and more kids started to show up.
Here's a
Word
Reese's.
spread and they even started asking for the giant candy. So I gave it to them and even let them walk in and take it until I was down to my last one.
You have any giant gummy bears?
I have one left.
And they went crazy fighting over the last gummy.
I'm gonna throw it up in the air, okay? Back up, back up. Ready? Oh gosh, don't get hurt.
Nobody caught it. Nobody caught it.
I caught it!
Well, oh, he stole
And
it.
to console the chaos, I just handed out a bunch of Feastables. One day I walked in the pawn shop and
is
saw
this a
this.
pocket knife? Oh my god.
The world's biggest pocket knife. I had to have it.
$45. I'll even throw in the stand.
Deal.
So I bought it to put it to the test versus a regular knife.
This is the world's biggest pocket knife. Look at it. Regular pocket knife versus an apple. Pretty clean slice. Giant pocket knife. Oh yeah. Ah! Made a star.
And both knives could cut fruit really well.
It's so heavy, I just like set it down on things and it cuts right through them.
Hiya!
So useful in the wild.
And then I wanted to test a 1,000-degree pocket knife test on all this stuff I bought.
Fruit. You hear that sizzle? It's really warm. Die, frog. It sizzled right through the frog. Prime. Melting the plastic. Glowberry. Oh, it's going. Yeah. Squish ball. Yeah. Oh, sizzled right through. Oh, big squish ball. Yeah. Oh.
So one day I wanted to find out if my Tesla would really stop for a deer in the road. In self-driving mode, Teslas are supposed to stop for any person or animal in the road. And I'm going to find out if it's really true.
Let's hit it. Ah!
I put the Tesla in full self-driving mode and it was time to find out. And the first time it detected a deer in the road and stopped and then just kept on going and hit it anyway. So we set the deer back up to try again. So I took off for a second time at the deer, and then this happened. The car stopped perfectly, and Jeff the deer was saved. Subscribe. So one day I wanted to take the world's smallest and weirdest weapons into the pawn shop guy to see how much he would give me, as well as this box that has a 1 in 24 chance of containing a real diamond. So I walked on in to see what it was all worth.
I got products.
What do you got? Anything good?
Some weapons.
We like weapons.
Let me start with the world's smallest Nerf gun. You just load it into the gun, and it shoots.
Then you just pull the trigger?
I was thinking I could get like 40 bucks for it.
I'm thinking maybe $5. They're only $11.99 brand new.
You know what? I'm gonna have to pass. You ever have a problem with bugs?
Occasionally.
This is the Assault Shredder. Pull this back.
You just cock it. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's rise. Wow. There's a fly.
And he literally saw a fly right when I was letting him use it. And just like that, he was sold.
Okay, $70. Sweet.
So I moved on to my next item.
Spider-Man web shooter. Put this on. You can grab onto stuff.
Wow. I'll give you $5 for it.
That's an insult. I think I'm gonna put this back. There's a 1 in 24 chance that this contains a real diamond, and I'll give it to you for $100.
I'll do $1 on it. I'll take a chance for $1.
Well, the upside is infinite, because if you find a real diamond, you know, you could double your money. You know what? I'll give it to you for $1.
Sweet.
So I sold it to him for $1 and he opened it up and just started beating it to find the diamond.
Oh, I got screwed. What is that?
That would be a rock crystal. I have one more item, the world's smallest bow and arrow.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And you actually shoot it? I guess you hold it here.
Shoot it.
Wow. All right, close your eyes. Yeah, I don't think you could really kill anything with that.
So I was thinking like 30 bucks on it.
Why don't I just order one off of Amazon for 20?
You know what? I'll just keep it.
Don't you try out.
So this berry can apparently make anything sour taste sweet. So I went to Walmart and bought a bunch of random sour items to test out this magical berry for myself.
Let's see if this works. Starting off, lemon. Try it without the berry. Sour. Now, I take one of the berries and try again.
And before eating anything sour, you're supposed to eat the berry and swish it around for about 30 seconds. So that's what I did, and I was ready to try the lemon.
Holy moly. Tastes like lemonade. Dude, this stuff works.
And then I moved on to the next level of sour.
This is a sour chip. It's supposed to taste like a lime.
I ate the chip, and the flavors were immediately so interesting.
I definitely still taste the sour lime, but it's so much sweeter than it normally is. Ow. The sour Skittle.
And when I ate the Skittle, I tasted zero sour.
I don't even taste the sour, I swear.
And for comparison, here's my brother eating it. Pretty sour.
It eliminated all the sourness from the sour Skittle and just made it extra sweet. The final test is the Warhead.
And immediately the Warhead was a little sour, but it got sweet faster than any Warhead I've ever had.
The sourness is gone now. That's the easiest I've ever ate a Warhead.
So I ate another one and confirmed these berries do work. Let me know what else to try. So one day I had the idea to fill my human-sized hamster ball completely up with fog to find out if the fog would stay trapped in the hamster ball overnight. We aired up the hamster ball with the fog machine inside and then sealed it up and it was ready to go. Now I just press this red button and the fog started dispensing all over the hamster ball. I wanted to make it completely white so you couldn't see through it at all. And I let the fog go for several more minutes until the hamster ball was completely filled. Then I just ripped these cords out to completely seal it. And I'm going to be coming back tomorrow to see if the fog's still there. Stay tuned. So one day I wanted to take one of these giant ostrich eggs to the pawn shop guy to see how much he would give me. So I got a brand new one as well as this other item called a tear stick that can make you cry on command and the world's tiniest slinky. And then I went in to see what they were worth.
I got some crazy things that you might want to buy. First thing is the world's smallest slinky. See? Look how tiny it is.
Well, it is small. Does it work?
He then tried to play with it and thought it didn't even work.
I think it's defective.
So I just got out the next
This
item.
is used in Hollywood when actors, they need to cry on a scene. It's called a tear stick. So you just rub this under your eyes. It makes you cry.
Why don't you cry for me? See if it really works.
It kind of burns your eyes.
So I put it on my eyes to demonstrate how it worked. And he even tried it out for
It
himself.
burns. I'm actually crying.
And it actually made him shed a tear, so I hit
I
him
don't
with
know
my
that I want
price.
to cry that much. But I think it's just a menthol stick.
I was thinking like 30 bucks on it.
I'd give you $3 for it.
You know what? I'll take it.
We made a deal and I moved on to my egg.
One more thing.
What's that?
You're going to want to buy this.
Softball? A diaper? Is that an egg?
This is an ostrich egg.
There's stuff in it.
Here's a normal egg, and here's an ostrich egg. Here's the yolk. So one of these can provide you like 100 grams of protein.
Wow.
I'll sell it to you for 50 bucks. You can boil it. You can stand on it.
How about 20? I think I'd make an omelet for 20 bucks.
25.
Just like that, we had a deal. Let me know what else to bring in. So after completely filling my parents' storm cellar up with popcorn, spending days popping popcorn and filling it up to the top, I had a new idea for the storm cellar. I wanted to turn it into the ultimate gaming setup. This way I could play as much Lego Fortnite as I wanted. First step was cleaning up the cellar because it was kind of dirty. Here's all the dirt I got out of it, and once it was clean, it was time to add the giant Legos. Here's all the giant Legos I bought to put inside the storm cellar, and I just began stacking them on the walls. My goal was to just cover each wall and add some color to the storm cellar to really make it pop. And after quite some time, I was onto my last crate, and we had completely filled up the storm cellar with Legos, and this is what it looked like. Now for the gaming setup. I ran an extension cord all the way down to the storm cellar, got a little TV out, then my brother graciously loaned us his PS5. We put that all in the storm cellar, hooked it up, and it was time to run Fortnite. I then loaded up a new Lego Fortnite world, and it worked perfectly. Now I can just get on my phone's hotspot, go inside the cellar, and run Fortnite. Completely immersed in the storm cellar. So the other day I walked into the pawn shop and I made a deal to buy this really giant pocket knife. And then I ran some tests on it comparing it to a regular pocket knife and it did really well. And we even lit it on fire and watched it sizzle through a bunch of stuff. And now I'm going back in to find something else to buy.
Hey, I'm just looking to buy something.
So I just looked around until something eventually caught my eye.
Yo, is that a sword?
Oh yeah, that's a big sword.
Can I see it?
He then got it down for me to look at and I was amazed.
Wow. Where'd you get this?
Some old samurai ninja. He was 116 years old, been in his family for 200 years.
Really?
No, just a cheap sword.
So we made a deal and I paid him the money and then I took it back home to test out the sword. I wanted to see what all you could do with a $45 sword from a pawn shop. Starting with me hitting this tree, which did nothing, then lighting the sword on fire and chopping this apple in half. Then I shook up this soda to try to chop it and make it explode with the sword, but it wouldn't even bust through, so I had to stab it like this. Then I whammed this banana in half and got out my flex-sealed crock boot and tried to stab it as well. And the sword was already starting to bend, so I just stabbed this couch, hit it up against a tree, and bent it like this. So after seeing that Gail Lewis's signed Walmart vest was bidding for over $400,000, it gave me an idea. I bought a vest at Walmart and replicated Gail Lewis's signature to see how much the pawn shop guy would give me for it.
Have you heard of Gail Lewis? No.
Oh, the Walmart employee?
Yeah.
Quit after 10 years?
Well, so you'll
I
know.
actually bid on a vest that she had on eBay that was going to charity.
Oh, really? It got banned off eBay because it was going for like so much money.
Yep.
Anyway, I got a hold of her and she signed this new vest for me with her signature, Gail Lewis.
Nice.
And I just want to see how much you would want to buy it for.
It seemed like the one she had was actually in a frame. Oh, so this is not the same vest that it was the one that was for sale.
Oh no, this is just a different one I had her sign.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking since that one was going for $400,000, maybe like $100,000 on this one would be fair.
You think so? Even though it's actually not a Walmart vest? Someone just wrote Walmart on there.
But that's still her signature on this vest.
Yeah, I don't know. Her signature looks a lot smaller.
And then he pulled up the real signature.
The G is totally messed up. Yeah, I don't think she actually signed it. I think it's someone else maybe just going as her. But I mean, the vest has got to have some kind of value. So I mean, I'd give you a couple bucks for the vest.
I know what my vest is worth.
And I had to walk. Comment what else to try. So one day I wanted to flex seal this giant ostrich egg to see if it would keep it from breaking. These eggs are already extremely durable and can survive almost anything besides a car. So I got out this yellow flex seal and started coating the entire egg in the flex seal with with the first layer. And then I left and came back when it was dry to add another coat. It was completely dry, so we flipped it over and added the second coat on top, completely covering the egg. And it looked really neat, so I left one more time and came back again, added another coat, and then it was time to let it sit for 24 hours and then test it. And the next day, the egg was dry, and it looked super cool and felt super durable and rubbery.
We're gonna toss this up in the air. Comment down below if you think the Flex Seal will make it survive or if the egg will crack.
3, 2, 1.
Go!
And here's the slow-mo. It just completely shattered the egg and was barely intact. Today, I wanted to see how much money I could actually make trying to sell stuff at the pawn shop, including this rare coin collection that I actually bought from the pawn shop guy 6 months ago to see if it would appreciate in value, and some other household items, including spray chalk, life straw, this camera, and this old iPhone that I wanted to sell.
Hey, what's up? You might recognize this thing.
I do recognize that.
Yeah, you sold this to me. I think these have appreciated in value.
You think so?
I just want to see how much, I could get out of these.
And he told me the same price I bought them for.
$200.
I'll think about it. Let me show you some other stuff. Next up, we have this Bang Energy lifting belt. You work out?
Does it look like I work out? A good hat. Oh, I don't know. It's probably worth $10.
Let's do it.
You want it?
Yeah.
And just like that, we were up $10.
I got this Polaroid camera.
Oh wow, is that from 1967?
No, it's new.
Is that the one that's about $1 a shot to take a picture?
It doesn't come with film.
Oh, that's what costs all the money. I'd probably pitch it for you if you want. I don't know that I'd want to buy it.
So I moved on.
Spray chalk.
Spray chalk.
It's like fake spray paint. You can prank somebody, spray paint their car, and you want them to get all freaked out and prank them.
You want how much?
20.
They're $8.19 at Walmart. How about $5?
And that brought our total to $15. Then I showed him the life
I
straw.
got one of those.
Oh, you got one? Yeah, you want to buy it?
It's hard to buy a used straw.
Next up, got an iPhone 13 Pro Max.
That's pretty nice. What do you want for it?
500.
I'd probably do $350. I mean, I could probably sell it for you. If you want to leave it here, I'll sell on commission and just charge you 10 or 15% or whatever I sell it for.
So I left him the phone to sell and left with $15.
I'm rich!
So one day, after finding gold in the sand brick and spending $100 to find it, I took it to the pawn shop to see how much it was
I
worth.
have a piece of gold. You see it?
That might be the smallest piece of gold I've ever seen.
And he weighed it and basically said it was worth about $2. So that's what he gave me. But today I found the same thing in diamond version, but even bigger. They were $10 a pop, and I bought the gold and the diamond. I opened it up, and inside was this giant sand diamond that I opened up and started trying to dig through. But it wasn't working, so I got out this hammer and just started beating the diamond in. Until finally I just had to take it outside and slam it on the ground, and inside was not a diamond but this rock. So I moved on to try to break open the other diamond I bought. I just hit it with the hammer a bunch of times and ended up just throwing it on the ground as well.
No diamond.
And after throwing down the other diamond, I was beginning to think we got scammed, finding another rock. But I still have the giant gold brick left with a 1 in 24 chance of finding real gold.
Oh, it's gold! Dude, this was a 1 in 24 shot. I only bought one of these.
And I couldn't believe it. This speck of gold was even a little bit bigger than the last one. So like if I should take it to the pawn shop to see what it's worth.
Tesla Chop Challenge. Angel cake. What's it gonna do, guys? Just stop. Nutty Buddy. Sidewalk chalk. What's it gonna do? Tomato. Will it squish? Taki. Whoa, this thing's so weird. Piece of pizza. I think it's gonna smash. Open bottle of Prime. These nuts bar. Will it chop? Jello. Tesla Hot Wheel. What's gonna happen? Play-Doh. Cake Pop. Yum. Watermelon. I wonder if it'll break. Oh, stress ball. Wonder if it's gonna pop. Cherry pie. Go. Cherry pie. Stick of butter. Gummy worms. Donut. Oatmeal cream pie. Will it smash? How many wooden pencils does it take to zip line? 1 pencil. Let's try to put it up here. Doesn't feel very strong. Let's go. Now 2 pencils. We have 4 pencils here. Let's see if this works. And 8 pencils. It's working. Guys. Oh. Ah. Since 8 pencils almost work, we have 10. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's holding me. No way. Bruh. 10 pencils holds. Zip line. Oh. They're broken. That almost worked, so now I have 15 pencils. This will do the trick. Jump. Oh, it's holding me.
And 12 pencils was completely enough to hold me, but I wasn't able to zip line quite yet.
I just grabbed a handful of pencils, but we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna zip line. 3, 2, 1, pencil zip line. Ah! Ow!
2 years ago, I did the world's largest elephant toothpaste experiment ever done inside a giant pumpkin. This year, I bought a bunch of giant pumpkins. This one we ran completely over like this. But we saved this one, the biggest one, weighing 400 pounds, for another giant jack-o'-lantern elephant toothpaste experiment. I started out with a regular pumpkin carving kit, but it wasn't doing enough. So I got out this hammer thing and started prying into the pumpkin. And we finally had to use a machete to get all the way through because it was so thick. And here was the guts. I did my best scooping them out by hand like this, and some of it was impossible to get out.
This is like hard. Look at this, it's like a mound of guts.
And then I wanted to see how far I could stick my head in.
I'm in a giant pumpkin. I'm in a giant pumpkin.
And then it was empty.
Pretty clear.
And the pumpkin was ready for carving.
In the face.
And just like that, the jack-o'-lantern was complete and it was ready for the elephant toothpaste. I took the top off the pumpkin, poured the solution, and put it in the pumpkin inside the pumpkin.
All right, this should work. 3, 2, 1. It's going.
And it started out slower than last time, going first out the mouth and then expanding a lot.
Bucket.
And it kept expanding and completely covering the giant pumpkin and elephant toothpaste.
Elephant toothpaste.
So one day I saw this Stanley Cup go viral for surviving a fire. And I was curious if it was true or not, so I borrowed my girlfriend's Stanley Cup without asking her to see if it really lived up to the hype.
My girlfriend loves this cup, but this is for science.
I prepared 4 durability tests for this cup at increasing levels of difficulty, ending with me running it completely over. I started with the first test using blunt force.
Starting with baseball bat.
I got off this bat and just whacked it. The cup went flying, and this was the damage. And I give the first test a 2-star survival rating. The next test is a drop test, and I don't have any heights around, so I just chucked it up in the air. And after hitting the ground, it left the Stanley with a few dings, but overall, I give 4 stars for survival. The third test is what made this cup viral. Fire. And remember, I'm a trained professional. Do not attempt. We buried the cups in leaves and lighter fluid, and the Stanley was soon engulfed in flames. And eventually, the cup caught fire and was slowly burning.
The straw melted.
We threw some water on it, and this was the damage. The cup was kind of charred, and the straw was completely melted. I give this test 2 stars. And for the final test, I set the Stanley in the road to run it over. We lined it up and missed on the first try, so I repositioned the cup, and then we backed over, completely crushing the Stanley. And here's what it looks like now. Pretty much destroyed. I give this test a 1 star. So today I saw this video of this lady freezing ramen noodles outside in the snow in Canada, and it's -3 degrees Fahrenheit in Missouri, so I figured I'd make some ramen and try it out. I added some seasoning, and that ramen was bussin'. It was really good. Then I had to figure out how I was gonna prop up this fork so it would be frozen in midair, so I got out these Lego bricks and this weight, and this was my idea. Then I went out in the snow to set it up.
We got our little table, and the key is we got to make it thick enough to where the ramen can freeze straight down and hold up the fork. Oh yeah, that's good, bro. That right there is gonna freeze overnight. That's gonna hold up the ramen. That looks like a work of art. I'm gonna come back in the morning and that should be frozen. Sweet dreams, ramen noodles. Let's check on the ramen. It is frozen right there. Yo, that's solid. I'm just gonna pick up the weight. Oh, we did it. That ramen is frozen. It's completely frozen.
And it even passed the Dairy Queen shake test.
So it does work. It's frozen in the -degree temperatures.
And I took it inside to see if it would thaw out, and then we just did this.
Oh.
So after trying to sell my signed Gail Lewis Walmart vest to the pawn shop guy, he wouldn't give me what I wanted.
Lewis signature. I think 10,000's fair.
I'll give you $100 for it.
But he gave me another
Put it on
idea.
eBay. Maybe I'll bid on it.
And you guys told me I should put it on eBay, considering this one went all the way up to 400K on eBay before getting banned. And a while back, I had a similar situation happen with these paintings that went all the way up to 20,000 but never sold. And I'm assuming that might happen here, but we're going to do it anyway and see what happens. I ordered this jersey frame, and I put the shirt in along with this Walmart Christmas pin Gail Lewis sent me as well. I then put it on this hanger hanger, clipped it into the frame, and it looked so good. I closed it up and it was beautiful. It was now my most valuable possession. And it was also ready for eBay.
Gail Lewis, signed rookie jersey.
I propped it up on this couch to take some pictures for my listing, and then I started typing away. I put it as a sports jersey and put all the pictures up and stuff. And the listing looked great. I was sure to highlight the Christmas pin and the signature. I started the bid at $100 and then wrote my description. This jersey is a must-have for any Walmart fan. It features the name of legendary player Gail Lewis and is signed for authenticity. The jersey is an original piece, blah, blah, blah. So stay tuned to see if we get banned on eBay. So one day I had an idea to take this small metal detector into Walmart and scan all these gold bricks until I found one with gold. So completely unsure if it could even detect the gold, I just started waving it around every brick until we heard a slight buzz. So I threw that brick in my cart and we headed to Target to buy the bigger bricks that cost $10. I took this cart of bricks to this random aisle and just started scanning them all. And in pretty much all of them, we basically heard nothing, and then we saw an employee and had a hit. And eventually we got a few bricks where we heard a slight beep, so we just grabbed all of those ones and took them back to test. And you guys also commented saying I need to dissolve them in water so it'll go by faster, so we put the first one in water and started hitting into it and then broke it. And to our shock, we got gold first try.
We actually got gold on the first one.
I then put it up against the tester to see if it worked, and it did.
Yo, that is the tiniest piece of gold.
And in the next brick, we weren't so lucky. We just found this rock. And literally in the very next brick, we did it again. We found more gold. And now we were really defying the odds with a less than 1% chance of this happening. And we still had these $10 bricks that we broke into and ended up being nothing but rocks in literally both of them. And now I just wanted to see how much my newfound fortune was worth.
I want you to tell me what you think these things are worth.
Each piece was about the size of a ballpoint pen, and he weighed them to calculate the value.
So what do you think they're worth?
$2.44. Is that what you pay for those little bricks?
The bricks are like $4 a piece.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy any more. Even if you find a piece of gold, it's not worth the $4 you're finding.
Dang.
So one day I bought this 30-foot weather balloon to see how big it could really get before it popped, as well as this giant wubble bubble to see how big it would inflate as well. So we started with the wubble bubble, just inflating it to normal height, and this is how it was at the normal size, so then it was time to make it even bigger. And not knowing when it would pop, we wanted to mess around with it at the giant size as well, so we stopped it and started playing with it. It was massive and crazy. I hit the ceiling and then walked under it, and then we started inflating it even more. And we could see the wubble bubble material stretching, and it kept getting bigger and bigger, and we had no idea when it was going to pop. But eventually, after a very long time, it looked like this, right before it popped. Here's the slow-mo. Yeah, it was a really hard pop. And now it was time to inflate the 30-foot weather balloon. I attached it to the giant air pump, and quickly it started getting really big.
This thing's gonna air up until it explodes.
And it didn't take very long for it to become way taller than me. And I could already see the material of the balloon stretching as it got bigger and bigger. And I had no idea when the balloon would pop, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I just sat there in amazement at the biggest balloon I've ever seen in my life.
This is how tall it is. It's literally about to reach the ceiling.
And to give an idea of how tall it was, I reached this thing up to show it barely reached. Then I had the idea to throw it at it, but it did nothing. And I was shocked at how strong the balloon was, so I just kept throwing it. But it literally did nothing but break the stick, so I threw it one more time. And it popped. So a while back, I put the pawn shop guy's face on a t-shirt and tried to sell it to him.
One of a kind.
Wow, pawn guy.
Now, since everyone's saying the pawn shop guy is really tired of me, I decided to make something else. I found this website and created this poster of me, and then it was time to give it to the pawn shop guy.
You bring me some artwork? Looks like a picture.
So every one of my comments lately, they've been saying you're tired of seeing me come in the pawn shop and stuff.
Oh no, never.
To replace me, I brought you something else.
That is cool. What happened to your legs?
Oh, they made them a little short.
This is like your little brother.
You then took the poster of me and stuck it behind the counter to work.
It looks like I'm working.
And approximately 1 week later, I received this video of the pawn shop guy taking me to Mexico.
Dylan goes diving.
In one of my last videos, I bought this candle that supposedly had a real diamond in it, and we actually found one. But the pawn shop guy told me it was only worth
about $1.
But recently I saw these money candles that contain loads of money. I paid 30 bucks for it, and right off the bat got gummy bears.
Somewhere in this candle, there's money.
I lit the candle to get it going and let it burn. And while I waited, I thought about all the money I could find, 100, 200. And then I just got bored and let it sit by this window while I did some other activities, like riding this scooter around the warehouse, then just contemplating life up here. But eventually I got too impatient and really wanted to see how much money was inside, so I just blew it out so I could start digging in it. And since it had been burning, the wax was actually a lot softer and easier to dig through, and we actually saw the money. But I had to keep on digging because it was too waxy and slippery to actually grab it. But eventually we were finally able to break it loose and pull it out.
Oh, we got it, bro.
The money was encased in this foil that I almost cut, but then I was like, oh wait, I can just unwrap it like this. And I was about to find out how much profit I made. Oh, yo, is that a $2 bill?
A genuine $2 bill. Wow. It's like George Washington or something. Wow.
So I bought this real iceberg water off Amazon for $200 because I wanted to see if I could pawn it for the same price I paid. But first I had to buy some normal water to see if there was actually even a noticeable difference.
I like it. Smart water. Tastes like water. Let's see if I wasted my money.
I smelled the water and it was really funky.
Yo, I smell like 15,000 years ago, I swear.
I then poured it into this cup and started drinking it, and I was actually surprised.
That literally kind of tastes like hose water. I like it.
And now it was time to see what it was worth to a pawn shop.
Dylan, what are you up to?
Well, I just brought something in that you might want to buy.
It looks like vodka.
This is the finest water you can buy. It's sourced straight from an iceberg. Worth about $300.
How do you really know it's from an iceberg?
Says it. False advertising is illegal.
Does it taste different than regular water?
Here, I'll let you try it.
And then we let him do a blind taste test on the water to see if he could tell which one was iceberg water.
I'll take a drink of each one of them and I'll see which one's better, okay? This one tastes a little muskier, like it's old. Is this the expensive one?
Yeah.
Bam.
And then we talked money.
This is only half a bottle. I mean, you did drink some of that value. I guess I'll sell this to you for $200.
Why 200? Because online it's only $54.69.
And he showed me where I could have got it way cheaper.
Oh, I'd give you $10.
And we still made a deal. So one day I went to the store to buy every single energy drink brand and flavor to mix into one single energy drink concoction, starting with these end caps of different flavors, and then we stumbled upon the mother load of all the energy drinks. I didn't even realize the dollar store had this many energy drinks, but I just started grabbing them all, and I was seeing so many brands and flavors I'd never even heard of. And our cart went from looking like this to looking like this. And I walked out spending $128 on energy drinks, and then I went to Walmart to get the drinks I missed, like Ghost, Bang, Prime, and Celsius. And we had everything on a single table, and it was time to sort them all completely by brand, which took quite a while, and the award for the most drinks went to Monster. Monster Energy had way more drinks than everyone else. And now the plan was to add a half tablespoon of each drink into this blender and into this jug. And I also tried some drinks, which were good.
I like that one.
And then some that were not so good.
Ew, what is that?
And here we are just speeding everything up, mixing every single energy drink, and this is what it looked like after we mixed every single Monster Energy. Yeah, kind of gross. And we carried on, dumping all the other drinks, Prime, and everything, just completely filling up this little blender. Until eventually we had done it. We had made the most insane energy drink that has ever been made in the history of history. And it kind of looked like coffee, but I smelled it and poured it in a cup to try. And some of the liquids immediately separated in the cup like this. And it was kind of bland.
Is it?
It's all right.
So a while back, I bought this candle that had a tiny diamond inside. And then I bought this candle that was supposed to have loads of money inside. But all I ended up finding was this $2 bill. So I ordered 2 more brand new candles to increase my odds of finding thousands of dollars. This one smells like birthday cake.
There's money in these, anywhere from $2 to $2,500. Last time we only found $2, but I gotta figure out how to get it in this pan so we can melt it and find the money faster.
And it wouldn't come out, so I had a brilliant idea to put it in this box, tape it up, and throw
Kinda
it.
scared, but
And after a few throws, it sounded pretty shattered. I opened up the box, and the candles were pretty broken, but not all the way, so we got out this hammer and finished up the job like this. And remember, I'm a trained professional. I pulled apart the glass like this, then pulled out the wick.
oh, we found the money.
I pulled out the money and immediately unwrapped it, and again was
What
left
is
with
it?
this.
It's a $2 bill. We have one left. Oh, there's the money. This has to be over $100, or else I'm just losing my money. $2. For $80 worth of candles, I got 2 $2 bills and an airhead. Worth that. This is $200 iceberg water, and this is $1 water. Let's see if I can tell the difference. No smell to this one. It smells pretty normal. This is the cheap one, I guarantee it. Whoa, that's like musky. That's the Berg water. That's crazy.
This chocolate bar is going viral because unlike regular chocolate, this one doesn't melt. So I immediately bought some to try and melt it, and it tastes just like regular chocolate, with the main difference being that it's way more crumply. So I'm going to be testing different levels of trying to melt it compared to normal chocolate, starting with a lighter on this Feastables, which completely melted it. But when I put the lighter on this chocolate, it only made it smoke like this and turned it black. The next test was just letting both bars sit out in the sun, and immediately this Hershey's bar started to melt, while the other bar continued to remain perfectly intact. I then let it sit out in the sun even longer to see if it might melt, but still nothing happened and it wouldn't melt whatsoever. So I then just put 2 new bars in the microwave to see what might happen, and as you may have guessed, it melted the Hershey's but did nothing to the other bar. So I went even more extreme and got out the hottest torch you can buy at a hardware store, which made the bar smoke like a piece of wood and also turned the tip black.
It's on fire. The chocolate literally catches on fire before it melts. It's just charred, like a piece of wood.
We then put a little bit more fire on it to see if anything would happen, but
not one bit of melting.
So yeah, it looks like you really can't melt one of these things. Let me know if I should try anything else. So one day I wanted to see what would happen if you put 200 bath bombs inside a giant human hamster ball. Here's one of the bath bombs inside a jar of water, so I can only imagine how crazy it's going to be inside the hamster ball. The first step was just filling the ball completely up with water. I let the water fill for quite a while, and then we put the first bath bomb in. And once it hit the water, it immediately started fizzing and turning the water pinkish. And before we put all the bath bombs in, I decided to put a couple in my pocket and then get inside the ball and release them. And they looked so cool dissolving in the water. I had my brother drop a bunch more in to see what it would look like with a ton in there. And the water was basically super reddish orange at this point. So then I got out and re-aired up the ball because it was time to put all 200 in. And we had a genius method to get them in without losing any air by putting them in this tube that would shoot out into the water. We did this until all 200 bath bombs were inside the hamster ball swirling around. And it looked so insane inside. It looked like one giant bath bomb. And then we aired it back up with the leaf blower so I could try to get inside it. But as soon as I stepped in, the scent was immediately too strong. So I got out and we just drained it. So I've been trying to make a genuine Prince Rupert drop that shatters when the tail is snapped. And after doing some research, I think I know how you're supposed to actually do it now. The first thing is the water has to be really cold to create a temperature change in the drop. And apparently it's also better to do it handheld and rotate it like this. But my first attempt just created this ugly pretzel thing. But I just got a new piece of glass and really focused the heat on the bottom of the drop. And eventually it finally dropped into the water and it looked perfect. I pulled it out and it was beautiful. And now it was just time to test if it was genuine or not.
I'm gonna snip off the tail, and if this is genuine, it should shatter.
And here's what happened. So one day I wanted to take this Prince Rupert drop to the pawn shop, as well as some other unique items from videos I've made, like this chocolate that doesn't melt and this apple juice that actually sounds like an apple. So it was time to see what they were worth.
I got some random, very unique items that you might want to buy.
Maybe.
This is chocolate that doesn't burn or melt.
That can't be good for you. Is it any good?
Oh yeah, it's pretty tasty. It's it's really crumbly. If you take a match to it, it's not gonna melt. That's what makes it unique.
I don't know if that's cool in your body or not.
I think it's like just a novelty item, you know.
Like $1 for it?
I was thinking like 20.
Well, how much is it on like Amazon?
It's out of this country too. Very exotic.
Well, they've got
and he found it on Amazon for $1 a bar.
$1 a piece. That's right where I offered you.
So we made a
Here you go,
deal.
sir.
Speaking of exotic chocolate, here we have a raw cacao pod.
That's kind of cool. Can we open it up?
If you buy it,
How much you want for it?
$100. That's sourced from the jungle. You can't get that around these parts. Would you buy something like this and resell it?
No, I'd probably just cut it open and see what's inside of it, like for $5.
Oh, I'll just keep it. This next thing might be the last remaining apple juice that this company made, that when you bite into it, it sounds like a real apple.
That sound real. We quit making it?
They just don't use the same plastic that sounds like an apple anymore. That's why I think that one's probably worth a fortune. I mean, it's expired, but...
He looked it up and then offered me.
I'd give you $5 just because I think it's kind of cool.
No, I think this is really valuable. I ought to keep it. The last thing I have is a Prince Rupert drop. So this glass drop is unbreakable. I probably couldn't break this.
You don't think I could? Can I try?
Yeah, you can try.
Let's go put it in the vise.
He took it back to this vise and put it in, and it eventually popped out like this, but did not break.
Didn't break. Well, I mean, it's kind of cool. I probably wouldn't have any interest in it.
Oh, okay.
So-
I'll just keep it.
So after filling my giant human hamster ball up with 200 bath bombs in my last video, I had another idea with it. Filling it up with helium. So I attached the helium tank to this plastic tube and then deflated the hamster ball about halfway and then began pushing down on this nozzle and filling the hamster ball the rest of the way up with helium. I then attached this rope and took it outside to see how high we could get it, and kicking it didn't make it go so far, so I started spinning it around like this and tried to throw it and then try that again one more time. And then I just jumped on it like this and fell and then tried to throw it up on this roof, but it didn't go. And I couldn't really get it that high, so I just hit it with my car like this and hit it again. Comment anything else I should try. So I've been making these Prince Rupert glass drops that are indestructible unless the tail is snapped. But I failed because all of mine don't break when I snap the tail, and I've tried everything from ice to blue liquid, and every time my drop just looks like this. But you guys commented and said to try with a bigger jar, so I got this one that's a little bit bigger and we're gonna try it again. I focused the heat on the bottom of the drop, and pretty quickly it was starting to melt until eventually it was dripping into the jar. It landed right here, so I stuck my hand down in it and pulled it out, and it was so beautiful. The drop looked very genuine and felt like a real one, so I put it on the tail and did this, but it ended up the same. So a while back, I made a video where I went out to the oil field and bought a jar of oil from this oil man, just to find out it wasn't worth near what I paid for
I think
it.
you paid way too much for it. I'd give you probably 50 cents for it.
So I went back out there to get my money back, and he ended up hiring me to do a bunch of work for him. Until eventually, after a long day's work, I had earned all my money back.
Here's all your money back.
And today I'm going back back out there because he has a new deal for me,
What's the deal for you?
where I get to find my own oil.
Here you go. Go right out there and dig for oil right over there.
He sent me out to dig for a spot to drill oil. So I just walked around with my shovel digging and trying to look for oil.
Hey, I don't see any oil over here.
Just dig deeper.
I kept looking around and was beginning to think I wouldn't find oil until I actually hit some.
Hey, I think I hit oil.
It was just coming out of the ground.
Oh, wow. I'll tell you what, that is oil. You drilled the shallowest oil well on planet Earth.
I took a good look at it and I could even see my reflection. And then we set up this rig to test it that when I turn this valve, it should shoot up oil all over.
If I turn this valve, we should get high quality oil.
But when I turned it, there was no oil.
It's water.
And I was pretty upset about it.
Life is nothing but a risk, son. Welcome to the oil business.
So after taking the gold I found in the dirt to this jeweler, he melted it down and it was worth about
$73.68.
And you guys told me to keep it and to find even more golden dirt to add to it. So in my last video, I found 0.06 grams in a small bag, and then in a bigger bag, I found even bigger chunks that amounted to a whole gram of gold, worth about $56. And this time, I'm going to be attempting to melt it all down myself with this torch. I remember the jeweler just poured it all in a crucible like this and poured this stuff on it, and that's what I did. And then I lit up the torch and started putting the heat on it. And I put the heat on it for quite a while and threw some more stuff on there. And eventually the gold got red hot like this, but it wasn't really melting. And then I tried to move it and found out I got it all stuck inside the crucible. So then I had the idea to buy more gold from the pawn shop to take to the jeweler.
Hey, I was just wondering if you still had those gold nuggets.
Oh, in the little jar? You need these?
I was just wanting to buy something to add to my my little nugget, remember? I wanted to buy some more gold to add to it.
I'd say that, I guess.
He weighed it for me at
0.9 grams. I'd do 80 on it. You got a $100 bill? Is that
Yep.
real?
Yeah, I'm pretty...
There you go, sir.
Comment if you want me to take it back to the jeweler to get it melted down. So after having this jeweler melt down this gold I found in dirt, I attempted to melt some more down myself, but just ended up getting it stuck in this crucible. So I then went to the pawn shop guy to buy some more gold nuggets from him to have the jeweler melt
I'd do
down.
80 on it. You got a $100 bill?
Then I took all my gold to the jeweler and he told me he could melt all the stuck gold and all the rest of my gold into one little piece. He poured it all into my crucible like this and got everything ready and then put the torch on it. And eventually it started to melt pretty fast, unlike when I tried. The gold started to look like a pearl that you could move like this, and then he let me try to see if I could do it, and I just held the flame on there. Then he finished up and poured it into this little mold. And just like that, all my gold became one little nugget weighing about 3 grams, and it was time to see what it was worth.
Hey, remember that little bit of nuggets you sold me? I took it to a jeweler and I had him melt it and combine it with all the other gold I have, and so now I have this little nugget. Here, you see?
Well, that's pretty neat.
Pretty big, huh?
What's it weigh? 3 grams. Do you have any idea what carat it is?
Probably like 18 carats.
He then got out his acid and tested the gold at,
Probably 20 carat. What that's worth?
which was worth
About
about
$185. That little bitty piece of gold.
So what would you get for that?
I'd probably give you 180 for it.
Dang, pretty good.
and I told him I'd have to think about it, so comment if I should sell it or keep adding more. So after attempting to melt my gold into a nugget but just getting it stuck in this crucible, I just ended up taking all the gold I had from sifting through dirt to this jeweler who melted it all down for me into a nice little bead that literally weighs 3 grams now and is worth
About $185.
And today I'm going back in to buy some scrap silver to attempt to melt into my own bar.
You know how I've been melting down lots of metals and stuff?
Yep.
I was wondering if you had any scrap silver or something that I could buy from you.
Like stuff like this?
Yeah, that'll work.
And it was worth $50.
$52 right there.
So now I'm going to attempt to melt it all into a bar with this torch that's actually meant for melting stuff. But first I just put a little bit of the silver in to test it out. And I got the flame going on it, then threw some of this borax so it didn't stick, and tried to get it hotter and hotter, and eventually it started melting for real. And it all melted into this neat little ball, and I thought it was ready, but it was just stuck, so we had to heat it up again to try to get it unstuck. And just like that, it was red hot, and I dumped it out and had myself a little silver coin. And I was able to fit about half the silver I had into this little crucible and began melting down all these little chains. It took a lot more time for all the chains to heat up because it was a lot more silver, but eventually it got red hot and started crumpling into its own little ball that I dumped out onto the thing and then put in water to cool it off, and it looked perfect. My own silver coin. Comment if you want me to try to melt the rest of this silver. So the other day I bought a bunch of scrap silver from the pawn guy.
Stuff like this?
Yeah, that'll work.
So I bought 60 grams.
$52 right there.
And then I took it back to my warehouse where I was able to successfully melt some of it down into this small little coin. But now I'm putting it all back in the crucible to melt into one bar to sell back to the pawn shop guy. So first I had to cut it into neat little pieces so it would all fit inside the crucible together. And then once we had it completely full, we started putting the heat on it and it began to get red hot, but it wasn't really melting melting like it did when we had a lot smaller pieces of silver in it. So I then just stopped the flame and realized I was just getting it all stuck inside the crucible like this. So I tried one more thing to try to get it hotter, which was putting this torch on the bottom of it while I hit it with the other torch like this, and it was working. It was getting red hot like this, so I tried to pour some of it, but it wasn't all coming out. So then I just put it in water, but it started boiling the water. So I put it in water one more time and then had the idea to just throw it on the ground. And bam, just like that, we actually had one piece of silver that we took to the pawn shop.
Hey, you know that silver I bought from you the other day?
Yep.
I melted it all down, and I think it's worth more money now.
What about all the resin and stuff on it?
Oh, that was just leftover stuff after I melted it.
I see. What do you want to do with it?
Then I told him I just wanted to sell it back to him, and he proceeded to weigh
You
it.
got 59.1 grams. Did you lose any of it? Because right now you're only at 46 bucks. You're only at $46 right now.
Yeah, some of it might have dripped off.
Oh.
So how much would you pay for that?
I'd give you 40 bucks for it.
I'm losing like 12 bucks.
So you make your deal when you buy it, not when you sell it.
You know what, I'll do it.
You want to sell it?
Yeah.
Alrighty. There you go, sir.
Since I've been failing nonstop to make a genuine Prince Rupert drop that actually shatters when you break the tail, I decided to order one instead, because in my last video we made this one and it still didn't work. So I had these shipped from Iceland and one of them broke, but they look like this. They look a lot different with this little ball at the end of the tail, and they passed the breaking challenge where we can't break the center of them like this. And now it was time to snip the tail to see if they were genuine. I snipped the tail and it just fell off like mine normally do, but then I snapped this part and it completely shattered. So I got another drop out and did it again, and I grabbed it in the same spot at the base of the tail like this, and bam, it completely shattered. So it turns out I was never doing it wrong, I just couldn't make a genuine Prince Rupert drop. So I've been having this jeweler melt down all the gold I've been finding in dirt, and currently my piece of gold looks like this, weighs about 3.1 grams, and is worth approximately
about $185.
And you guys said that's not big enough, so I should keep buying more bags of dirt to add on to my gold, so that's exactly what I did. We have another over $100 bag of dirt, and I started out sifting it out and creating a really large pile of the smooth dirt and all the chunky dirt. And right away I saw 4 big chunks of gold just sitting in the dirt. So I began plucking them all out of the dirt one by one into this little pile I was creating, and then I found 2 more little chunks to add to my pile until it just looked like this, and I added it all into my little container and started searching for some more and found my biggest chunk yet. And then after that we searched a whole bunch more but only really found a few more pieces, and then I filled up the container and weighed it at 0.74 grams. Then my brother did one more quick search through and found 2 more nuggets weighing 0.04 grams, and then we went through the finer pieces and couldn't find anything, so I started sifting through it like this and found just a few really tiny pieces to add, and now we have about $44 more worth of gold. So I've been making a series where we melt down all the gold we've been finding in dirt, and right now our gold is worth
about $185.
And in my last video we sifted through this $120 bag of dirt and ended up finding lots of gold in it, weighing 0.74 grams and worth about $44. And now I'm going to be attempting to add all the nuggets to my giant nugget inside this little crucible. I started by setting it on the bricks, getting the flame going, and putting the heat on, and it started melting really fast and eventually just looked like this shiny ball, and it just got brighter and brighter, and then I attempted to move it around with this little stick, but it just got stuck to it. And then I thought the gold was ready and tried to pick it up, but it wasn't, and I just kind of broke it apart like this. So we had to reheat it and get it all hot again, and then we started pouring it, but only a little piece went into the crucible and then another piece fell off into the table. But we had most of it in this chunk right here. But it looked great and weighed in at 3.61 grams. And now it was time to see what the pawn shop guy would pay for it.
We bought some more dirt for it, sifted it through it, found some more gold, and we added it to the gold.
You're still buying bags of dirt?
You get about a 50% return.
So you spend 100 and you get 50 back? Is that good odds? What happened to it? It's all misshapen.
He then weighed it and got the same weight I did.
3.6 grams, 224.43. If it's only 18 karat, it's 201.98. I'd probably give you 180 for it.
I'm gonna keep it for now.
So in my last video, we froze these giant water balloons overnight in the -degree temperature. And the next day we cut them open and they looked like giant ice balls. And sitting inside it gave me an idea. I could turn it into a real sled, but I broke it, which showed us just how thick the ice was. And you guys commented wanting me to turn this blue water balloon into the sled. So that's what we're gonna do. I cut it open like we did the red one, and it was super pretty and blue and clear, and then it started bubbling up and draining all the water inside of it. I stood on it to make sure it was strong, and then we let it finish draining, and I picked it up and tried to flip it without breaking it, and it was fine. And it was ready for us to drill a hole and turn it into a sled. So we drilled a hole through the front end of the ice all the way through. That way we could put a rope in and tie it behind a car. And for the first test, we hooked these straps up to a truck and made sure it was strong enough to be pulled without breaking, and then I got in it, and it was actually working. We started off really slow, and the ice was holding up just fine. And once we knew it worked, we picked up the pace and started going even faster, and I was really doing it. I was the first person to be sledding on a full ice sled. This thing is thick. My hands were numb, but I was making history, and it made this ball of snow that broke.
So after trying and trying non-stop to make a perfect Prince Rupert drop, you guys told me the reason I can't is because I'm not snipping the very end of the tail. And if you don't know, when you melt the drop, it's supposed to fall in the water, and then you're supposed to be able to take it out and snap the tail, and it's supposed to completely shatter, but mine just look like this, even when I snap them a second time. But today I'm listening to you guys, and I'm going to be making one and snipping the very end of the tail to make it shatter. And I also got a new hotter torch to melt one. Look at it glowing like never before.
It's getting so bright.
Yeah, I think it was getting even hotter than normal because it looked so beautiful and shiny, and I was really able to hit the base of the drop, which is where you're supposed to concentrate all the heat to make a perfect Prince Rupert drop. And after a little while longer with the heat on it, the drop fell into the glass like this. So satisfying. And this drop looked way different than normal. It looked way more detailed inside, and now it was just time to snip the very end. So I grabbed a hold of the drop and then grabbed it by the base like this and took some scissors out and snapped the very thinnest part of the tail. And it did not shatter, so then I snapped this part as well. And even still, nothing happened, so like if you want me to buy some real Prince Rupert drops online to test those out.